where the scientists can't know the frontier of the brain juice? A string of cubes where each year lives, where each movie is a grain of sand, compared to the whole of experience, which is carried forward, unum, hourglass, time glass, cubes. The dialectic of philosophy and art when the art is part of the soul and the soul breathes experience. But the artists live in different centuries. They just missed each other. Somehow they converse, originate, and respond. What bursts original and what from the hearing senses absorbing avant-garde, native and movements, libraries holding voices dry with spines. Galleries present associations through your eyes, magnify silence and sounds in response, like fragments from the depths of the subconscious coming through the wire. Or colonial mirrors of the peors in fine paint, El Greco showing their eyes soulful, Cortázar speaking from the side of the bench photo, curls and spirals in his words himself. A pearl is formed of an outline with one crescendo, decrescendo crash. Jesus is born of a December 2nd, where joy lives, an instant. A grain of sand, a grain of saint, a piece of salt, saltpeter piece. Love mixed in with all the pain of those who have died for nothing, nothing. And the love is perfect compost, wherein new babies form pearl bubbles at breasts, yet it weighs. Incandescent the sky in winter, broken opalescent lavender ices. The winter glaze in doom's eyes is shock, still milk curdled cold, and something still survives. It is ghosts living within you and laughter and traffic gurgling, a leaf falls spiraling with variable factors, mass, shape, position on limb, angle on limb, gravity, air current on start, currents during fall, disbarring people, cars, tree limbs, other leaves, chance, the odd candelabra, as light as smoke, as heavy as that smoke from a cigarette slowly spirals, hangs in the air and falls. Your breath into it steady creates a lower stream, which causes smoke to stretch itself and curl like a cat's back, or suddenly, like a thought stream snaps, a snowflake melts.
Wow, gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Oh,
lovely.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
That was
that.
lovely, Emma.
Wow.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
What a lovely ride. That was beautiful. You just, a nice weave of so many things. Oh,
Aw,
just gorgeous.
I
Thank you.
really appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Amy. That was everything they all said. Okay, Jon Wesick, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, thanks. My audio was breaking up a little bit, so I'm going to leave the camera off while I read. A Christmas Story. No matter the time of day, the boardroom of Spectre toys, a division of Spectre missile and defense systems remained cloaked in shadows. The chief executive officer sat behind a desk on raised steel flooring and stroked his cat's long white fur. Both had a predator's pale blue eyes that pierced their victims' bowels with icicles of fear. A livid purple scar ran from the CEO's left eye socket to the top of his shaved skull, perhaps the way he pinched his black cigarettes between thumb and index finger gave his subordinates some clue of his origin, but they referred to him only as Number Two. A Japanese man stood before Number Two's desk. Although short in stature, his erect posture gave him the air of command. Liberal use of gel kept each of his gray hairs in place. Behind him, a woman in a tweed suit and tortoiseshell glasses held a clipboard. The junior backyard nuclear waste storage kit's authorization is making its way through Congress. This time, there will be no failures. Excellent, Number Three. Number 2 formed a steeple with his fingers. Now tell me about the Tina anorexia doll. We launched the product last week, complete with miniature scale exercise cycle and case of Diet Cola. And the scale model Guantanamo prison kit. Yes, sir, I'm told the interrogation rooms are quite realistic. How are the sales? Number 3 swallowed. Despite years of practice in high-stakes corporate negotiations, a tremor appeared on the corner of his mouth. They're not buying, sir. What do you mean they're not buying? Times are tough. They've decided to spend their money elsewhere. I don't pay you to let them make up their minds. Number 2 pressed a button on his armrest. A trap door opened. Number 3 fell into the pool under the steel platform. The water boiled with hundreds of piranha, each biting a thimble of flesh from his body. Within seconds, the skeleton sank to the bottom. Congratulations on your promotion, number 4. Number 2 stroked the cat and the gold ring on his right hand. Make sure merchants start playing recorded Christmas music the day before Thanksgiving. And keep it up until the shoppers' minds are numb. Have our corporate affiliates double their employees' unpaid overtime. Guilty parents spend more during the holidays. Aside from that, have our TV stations show Miracle on 34th Street over and over again. Encourages gullibility. What advertiser wouldn't love it? You may go. The new number 3 scribbled notes on her clipboard and left to set number 2's plans in motion. You know, Wotan, number 2 spooned caviar into the cat's crystal bowl. This could be our best Christmas ever. And I have one more short one that's more of an after Christmas poem. It's called Discards. Despite the printed notice, they crowd the dumpster. No room for turkey bones and torn wrapping paper. Only a tangle of dried, brittle branches. These forsaken veterans shedding brown needles, still smelling of Christmas. Thank you.
Woo!
Wow.
I like a nice after Christmas poem. Thank you. Okay, next up, welcome back, Dre Zera.
Hey, Dre.
2 6. Do, do, do. Are we all feeling good today?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's go with that. Okay. My name is Dre Zera, and let me just flick this up so you can see better on here. Yep. My name is Dre Zera, and I've got 2 shortish poems for you, and they're not necessarily Christmas themed, but they're a lot more lighter themed than what I usually do. So the first one is titled Boxbuster Freedom, I say, and this is all about people that say nah, we say yeah. It goes like this. Breaking out of my shell. Well, hey, it feels good to bat out of hell. Bursting through this once sealed up box. Crikey, cracking open Fort Knox locks. Quite a mouthful, isn't it? This sultry donut is all mine, having on it as much calories as I mother truckin' want. 10-4, 10 out of 10. I hope this never ends. Freedom, I say, like my hair, let it all sway. Yay! So that was Boxbuster. And this second one is titled A Silent Dream. And yeah, it's all about dreaming and let us all dream. We've had a very difficult 2020, regardless of how massive or small it has been, because we've all had varying degrees of sacrifice, etc. So this is a silent dream. I look to the stars gazing afar, for I can't scream a silent dream. The moonlight howls from the midnight owl. Nightmares are foul as I throw in the towel. I look to the stars gazing afar, for I can't scream a silent dream. The heart runs cold from the icy folds. My life can't hold, befuddled and sold. I look to the stars gazing afar, for I can't scream a silent dream. The voice burns dry from the poison fly. Alone I cry as I tread on mines. I look to the stars gazing afar, for I can't scream a silent dream. The broken gun from the hollow sun, chasing's no fun to bestow and run. I look to the stars gazing afar, for I can't scream a silent dream. The wheels of fate spring spikes of hate. It's never too late to pull my weight. I look to the star gazing afar, for I can stream my beautiful dream. Thank you very much, everybody. It's an honor for me to be on this event, and I look forward to seeing your wonderful virtual faces, or maybe in-person faces, who knows, next year. Much love, and thank you, and I shall zero later. Goodbye.
Woo! Ha! Great, Zira. Welcome back. Welcome. That was such a pleasure as always, sir. Such a pleasure as always. All right, we're going to move on now, and we got to have not only a Zoom debutant, but obviously I like a Blot from the Blue debutant, and also our youngest ever debutant. So, if she's ready to unmute herself and open her camera, would you please give a Blot welcome to Arya Ray.
Hello. Dad doesn't want to put our camera on.
Okay, just do it without.
Okay, this poem is called Snow. Misty air creating crystallized frost sheets on the cold ground, sledging down the large steep hill, creating a smooth, shiny snow angel. Skin as pale as snow, limbs as numb as frozen as ice, slouched in front of a fireplace, crackling like Christmas crackers, sipping on warm, frothy hot cocoa. Well done.
Thank you. That was my granddaughter, by the way, making her debut appearance with a poem she wrote herself. Thank you, Arya. Thank you. Well done, sweetheart. Well done. Okay. Next up is one of our Christmas elves here. Christmas tree was. I've got Richard Harris. You ready, Richard?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm still off mute. I'll just put my hat up. I've got two short ones. One is Christmassy and one isn't. And this first one I wrote as a children's poem, but then I realised the adults related to it. And it's called Bedtime Accident. Now sweet Jennifer went to bed. Good night, Mummy, to Naomi, she said. Went straight to sleep in slumberland so deep, then woke with a start and with a thudding heart, felt something nasty all over her. She wanted her mummy near, so she called out and did shout, there's something all over me. It's all brown and nasty, I can see. Naomi went fast to her room. She saw Jennifer was filled with gloom. She thought it was sickness or worse. Did smile and refused to curse as she mopped away as Jennifer just wanted to lay and go back to sleep ever so deep. The problem now was Mr. Tickle, her toy that Jennifer cuddled with joy. He was so old it would be bold to put him in a washing machine, which would destroy him and be mean. Then Naomi saw wrappers of gold covered in brown mess, not cold. And she realized Grandma's treat of chocolate coins to sort of sweet had been taken to bed by mistake and had melted into a chocolate lake. So Jennifer had not been ill at all, and into liquid chocolate did fall. Mr. Tickle, when washed, was as good as new, and Naomi was relieved and sighed, phew. And it was a Facebook story from a friend of mine, so I just adapted it. And I've been angry on all these events so far, so I thought I would do something daft now. And that's probably as daft as I get. I had a bit of a naughty one, but then I realised there are young people around, so I'm going to do a not naughty one. So this is two little girls and a Christmas tree. The little fir tree, so wanted to grow, it pushed its tip up as far as it could go, wanted so much to see his first snow and to feel the winter wind blow. He looked at the great trees around and wanted to be so far off the ground, believed happiness he would have found, as with great joy his love life did abound. But one fine day there came some men and started to dig him up, and then he knew he was about to leave the glen, when from his branches flew his own wren. He bounced about in the back of a truck, was so miserable he was right out of luck. At least with an axe he had not been struck. He still had his roots embedded in muck. The next thing he knew, he was on a forecourt of a garden centre. His wishes counted for naught. He listened to fearsome tales that made his life fraught with images of being left and not being bought. Would he end up as wood on a lively fire, or chippings on a flower bed, or would it transpire that to be thrown on a heap and lie in the mire? He would never grow old and grow higher and higher. He heard some giggling, and two little girls arrived so happy with plenty of twirls. They danced around smiling with teeth like pearls. They were so lively, their dresses did swirls. They asked Mum and Dad for a sweet little tree. They were told to choose the best they could see. The little fir tree did wish, pick me, pick me. And when they did, how happy was he. They took him home in the back of the car. It was not very near, but really not too far. They decorated him with lights and a large star. He felt so grand and royal, just like a czar. After the holidays of Christmas, he did feel low as they took the decorations off him, oh so slow. What will happen to me now? It was a great blow. But Izzy and Lara planted him and let him grow. Now, 20 years later, he feels so great as to grow in their garden was his fate. And so with this story of Christmas delight, we send you good wishes with all our might. Merry Christmas, love and goodwill to all. Well, except the Tory party. And Trump. And the like. We won't get too inclusive here, will we?
Oh, that's good.
So I did promise to be daft today and silly. So there you are. I think I fulfilled that. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you. That was great, except the Tory party. Goes without saying. Goes without saying. All right. We're going to move on now to, we're going way across the ocean to Kelly. You ready to go,
Morning.
Kelly? Morning.
Good morning. I've been writing loads of new stuff the last few days, so I'm going to try two new ones that I popped out last night when I was thinking about this morning's blot, and they're sort of about presents, sort of. And the first one is called Charlie. So it's the first time I've read it and I haven't had my coffee, but let's give it a whirl. This one's called Charlie. Grandma introduced me to Charlie, skipping a motherhood generation as she handed down that half bottle of spiced scents, packaged in a red box with silver embossed labeling, dipping me with ylang ylang and Prue, introducing me to adulthood with a hue fit for a princess. Basking in Charlie, I mutated from a prodigy child into a fire starter, raving in downtown planet Earth, my nose so attuned with musky perfume, it didn't notice the smell of Saturday nights on the dance floor. My body so sensuous, it never repelled the boy at the end of the bar looking for the garage party, +1. Charlie says, always tell your mummy before you go off somewhere, but I didn't listen, Grandma. I didn't listen. That's that one, short. And my second one is, it's also quite short, but it's called Cabbage Patch Kid. It was barren under the Christmas tree after Papa slammed the door, returning no more to face the awkward silence following noisy violence, causing post-traumatic stress disorder, lifelong implications from argumentative lacerations, stripping the wood chip paper bare, leaving nothing but paper-thin walls to offer little protection from me listening in despair from beneath the tent of my duvet. All I wanted was a hug of free love and a Cabbage Patch doll. That was all the rage amongst friends, for me to adore with all her imperfections. Those big eyes that had seen too much and podgy cheeks that fooled the world into thinking her soul was well nourished. Papa said left, Mama said right. I bled every word of their fight. I heard him say the doll came in the mail. Mama said he lied, Papa said he cried, from knowing she took it back to the store for rum and black money. Only the Cabbage Patch Kid knows the truth of my youth. That's me this morning, shorties.
Thank you,
Shorties.
Kelly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful as usual. Thank you. Right, we're going to move on to another behatted poet, Caroline Burrows. The stage is yours.
I'm going to read 3 poems. All my poems are always coming from sort of a place of truth. There's this one poem where some of the names have been changed to protect the innocent and guilty. This is called Neil Young is Everywhere. Neil Young being changed. Sue knew a man who worshipped a singer. Gaz took his gospel young lyric. Had Neil Young for breakfast, lunch and dinner, even dressed up like that aging peacenik. On his mission, Gaz Neil Young's music to tell Sue it was not an affair. All talk, no trousers, a married man's trick, news everywhere. Tear. Sue did not miss her love tender, watched the flick to forget that fanatic, groaned, the film showed, on top play Old Man, a Neil Young classic. At karaoke, she heard guitars lick a Neil Young song she wanted, even outside the Neil Young nightmare, a harvest moon shone, a joke too cosmic. Neil Young was everywhere, wasn't me. Gaz had talked big of Sue sought peace of mind at a health clinic. The nurse said, better to burn out than fade away. Sue felt sick, convinced Gaz had made her a statistic. But Sue was fine, needing no Medicare, just for being with a bit of a dick. Neil Young was everywhere, Gaz was nowhere. Dick sat by Sue. He spoke like his music taste made a answer. It's ironic. Young is everywhere. Thank you. I can hear someone playing with paper. I don't know if anyone else can. If someone's got their mic on. Okay, so this next one's really short. It's called What is the Sentence for a Broken Heart? When a heart outside of time fit to heal, a heart in pain will stain everywhere. All joy it will steal. But love's wraiths walk in faith. A hurt heart beats with hope. Only dead hearts don't feel. And I've got one more poem. So this third poem I wrote when it was the first lockdown, and a lot was happening during that, and I had a medication change, so I had an acute depressive episode. And normally I go cycling to feel better, and cycling wasn't making me feel better, but I kept going out cycling anyway because it was better to cycle than not to cycle. And this poem happened, and I was a bit surprised actually looking back on it, because stuff came out in it I didn't realise was in there to do with what was going on at the time. So, called The Only Way Out is to Cycle Through. I pedalled out under a gloom-ridden sky, on a flat haunted by ghosts of trees, their trunks like a dead giant's ribcage twisted high. Winds tore through those bones in bitter eddies, a crumbling of leaves lit pale, numbed, cycled on, centuries. I pedalled met by clouds heavy with on the same path the trees, each shriveled branch pointing with a stubborn nail. A wood out of sync, amplified, the path was pelted as if detested, cooled past those clouds, petrified. I pedalled beneath clouds filled with a flood, on the path the trees cover their graves, like that had ruptured, smeared with mud. Murky sobs shrieked in waves, trying to bandage the trunks with their grief. Bogged down, I cycled through the path's sludge-filled concaves. I pedalled to the sun in disbelief. On the path the trees were resurrected, waving hello breezily with each full green leaf. Their branches form shelter overhead. On the flat path, shadows and light shone through, making the shape of a ladder which led me and my bike up, out, into a brighter view. Thank you. Christmas, everyone.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you. I don't know what happened at the beginning and middle of that, but there was interference of everyone seemed to be muted. So one of these Zoom bugs, I think. But thanks anyway. Thank you. Okay, next up is Generalissimo Brian.
Give me a couple seconds to pull my stuff up.
That's okay.
And I will start with a haiku, the definition of inclusive. A community of poetry people is for everyone. The next three pieces I did in workshops yesterday. The first is called Enveloped. I wish I could choose what they fill me with. What they choose to fill me with will decide my quality of life. If it's a utility bill or property tax notice, I will be unceremoniously ripped apart in frustration. If it's some sort of sweepstake, I will likely be tossed straight in the trash can. If I contain a political solicitation, I will be crumpled to the point of ruin. If I had a choice, it would be a love letter. One a young lady spritzed with expensive perfume, maybe jasmine, bergamot, or rose with a tinge of sandalwood or cardamom. The man would see her pretty cursive writing and carefully open me with a steak knife or letter opener. He will save her letter and place me in a cedar cigar box with other love letters his children will discover after his death, decide to publish as a book that will become a Tony Award-winning Broadway play. Thank you. The next is called What Kind of Sap Do Yellow-Belly Sapsuckers Suck? Somehow I have taken to the color yellow in my middle-aged years. Throughout my life, I have been enamored with red, then forest green, then rust, then fluorescent green, then gold, then orange, yellow. People who equate yellow with cowardice and the bellies of sapsuckers don't comprehend the fact how yellow is the sun. The same sun that allows us to see, that nurtures us with vitamin D, that provides a needed ingredient for our food to rise from the ground, that allows flowers to bloom and teaches us there are too many forms of beauty to count in an entire lifetime. These flowers feed honeybees that transport nectar to various locales, feeding the plants that feed the human, providing sustenance with a side of sweet, sticky honey. The next is called the side effects of anonymous cactus flowers. I will traverse the desert as an animal not native to its environs. I will attempt to draw water from a cactus for survival's sake. I will respect its ability to perform acupuncture on me against my will. I will hope its fruits and flowers will provide me sustenance. I might find food that will cause me to soar above my body with my spirit animal in a blackened night sky lit only by a winking moon, trying to transform itself from 7/8 to Mac the knife, crooning like Nat King Cole, but my spirit animal guide will graze La Luna with its talon as a warning to the mischievous celestial imp that its role in my journey is set in stone. The next piece is called The Least Sweet Fruit on Planet Earth. I'm a connoisseur of sour grapes. To be palatable, sour grapes must always be sweetened and or spiced up exponentially. Making sour grape jelly takes an inordinate amount of sugar. To ferment sour grapes, one must submerge them in at least 1.5 times the volume of raw honey for at least a month. Sour grapes are most often used for vinegar, but the vinegar can only be used in small amounts. No matter how sour grapes are consumed, no matter how sour grapes taste in their altered state, sour grapes are always sour grapes. Sour grapes will always cause heartburn in one way or another. One more reason Charlotte regretted not having daughters. Charlotte's boys built a snowman while she cooked her famous pineapple white chocolate snow day flapjacks. As the kids smothered maple cardamom coconut cream on the jacks, she noticed a band of fuchsia on the snowman. She layered up in long johns, fleece sweats, ski socks, and vinyl knee-high snow boots. Charlotte tromped through post-blizzard snow to discover her $250 designer cashmere scarf on the snowman. The water damage was irreparable, according to the dry cleaner. After the snow melted, she handed her eldest son a spade to dig a grave. She had her youngest son play taps on a kazoo, while the middle son recited "The Lord is my shepherd" in its entirety. The cashmere scarf was buried in a Havanista cedar cigar box coffin. For posterity, her husband videotaped the only funeral for a scarf in modern history. During the ceremony, Charlotte drank from a goblet filled with farm fresh apple cider she secretly wished was rum. Gracias, everyone.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, that sour grapefruit, I had it last night as well, and it's better second time around, Brian. Cheers, thank you, mate. Okay, next up is Lily. You ready to go, Lily?
Hi, yeah, I am. I just load my poem up. Merry Christmas, everyone. It's been a brilliant night so far. The caliber of poetry is just insane. This first one is Christmas orientated. It's called The Humble Snowflake. And it sort of draws off an idea that snowflakes all used to be the same, even though that's not the case, but I just thought, why not? So this is The Humble Snowflake. Thus, the snowfall begins. A single snowflake, like delicate lace, swings softly to a playful floor of ice or smoke or face. Ancestors and relatives, descendants of a droplet, cascade the blanket sky and lose, in a second, their energies to a fancy wave of gravity and heat. When the sun told the time, every tainted cloud's tear was identical, a structured unit of a whole, with happy hands and beating wings. A catharsis washes over them because they are released before they are ready, before they have learned how to fly. And their perfectly similar veins west a broken-hearted river of white that collapses in an ocean. Their lives are spent descending the stairway to heaven, only to find it again in a dusty fur carpet. Their identical thoughts and shapes, identical hearts that make joy before the moon, make smiles sprout on the twigs on the ground. Pristine, carefree, the snowflakes fall. Their facsimile kept them safe until butterfly. That fault of white which dragged its weight behind with its mystical lace of unfashionable shapes. It fell uneasily, unwanted, slower to see the world. The mother did not know her place. And this snowflake, the Ophelia, sank wistfully to the crystal flats below, noticing its relatives. It touched the earth and felt fulfilled. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily. Thank you.
I've got another one, if that's okay.
Can I interrupt you? You don't have anything on behind you there, is it? There's another voice coming through and everybody's muted.
Yeah, sorry, there's the tallies on in the other room.
All right, that's okay then. I don't have to worry, that's fine.
So the second one isn't necessarily related to Christmas, but I just kind of wanted to read it. It's based around American literature and the idea of the American dream. It's called When the Birds Sing. It is an American dream that floats the boats and indulges in the pits of tar beneath our feet. A fickle dream where joy is endless, making us whole and broken-hearted in the summer night's blossom. A spiraling staircase of cascading diamond thoughts will cart you to a land of paradise, a side of the world we wish to see and hardly attain. Man is prevented from reaching the unreachable through fear of the bottomless unknown. And when I'm smaller, older, grayer, maybe then I'll see why we strive so far to see so little. Why we search for a green light that dilates when we are close, as it notices a new prey or spiritless vessel. Tomorrow, I will cry under weeping willows while my friends spread their arms and inhale pixie happiness, whether they deserve it or not. They will be propelling their boats forward, and I will be forever backwards, grasping for the white curtains and the blood-stained carpet. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Lily. I know you're going to pop off very soon, but it's not bad. 5 to 8 says you got till 8 o'clock. Good timing. Okay. Next up, we have another Blot debutante, and so please give a warm welcome to Xavier. Are you ready, sir?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. You all right? Yeah. Thank you very much to give me a spot in this wonderful, gratifying, poetic night. I'm at work, so I'll do the poem, and I'll have to get back with the boys. So I have written a poem for the night. It is a poem that is about how humans we are condemned to love, that it cannot be avoided, and I think it's quite Christmassy, because whatever we hate our family or people or whatever, you end up like loving each other because it's in our nature. Although in my published books I use different languages like Castilian or English, I'm going to recite this one in Catalan for obvious reasons, because it's been extinct by political and economic reasons. So I tend to use it to avoid the total destruction of another human culture. I don't have the translation yet because I did it for the night, and as you understand, it takes some time. And I do hope that you enjoy it. That's why we do this stuff. So it is condemnats a estimar-se. Em fregava rabiosament amb el dors de la mà. Havien anat enllà. El cor se'm congelà. Els meus llavis eren morts. La passió és un vent gelat. El sexe un record inhumà. L'amor totalment absent. Havia dormit un segle. El despertar va ser molt lent. Ressonaven campanes misterioses, de sorolls, de plaer, de fricció física i mística. Tancava els ulls i ho recordava. Movia el cos i el dolor m'afectava. Cada pensament tallava el meu cos. Cada emoció paralitzava la meva raó. Dies, hores i mesos em buscaren. Eternitats on ens habitàrem. Moments on esclatàrem internament fins que assassinàrem aquesta atracció. Tots els emmurriaments cessaren ahir, quan ens aïllàrem de l'exigüitat social. Els nostres cossos s'endevinaren al volcà. Ara esquerdats, estem condemnats a estimar. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Javier. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for popping in.
I'm usually more, my poem, actually this is quite a rare poem. My poems are more dynamic, but I think that it is very important to remember that Christmas is about kindness and love, you know, disregarding whatever you believe or whatever you are, you know. And it's a nice time for showing love and kindness, isn't it? Like for the poor or for your family, or appreciation for the parents, for what they've done to us, etc. So I thought that it was time for something more compassionate than the runs that we usually do the rest of the year.
Very true there, very true. It's yeah, we can rant the next time. This was perfect tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for popping by. Thank you very much.
Anyway, as I said, I'm a specialized carer, and I got my time to do this. But I wish you all happy Christmas, and hopefully we'll see each other on the stage pretty soon.
Okay, bye. Okay.
Bye.
And applause
Bye.
to Javier. Wonderful, wonderful new
Thank
day.
you.
Okay. Okay, we could still stay in that part of the world, not Catalan. Des Manning.
Hi, thanks a lot. So I'll do two short ones. The first one is called The Loneliest Christmas. It's very COVID-ish, but there you go. So, only the lonely want to kill themselves Christmas, store unpaid bills like religious artifacts, recite all the good lines from Casablanca, say all the wrong things to all the right people, watch all the classic Christmas movies alone, quote randomly from Macbeth when answering questions, reread old love letters kept in boxes, rip up old lovers' photographs, forget what their lovers looked like, idealize what their lovers looked like, recoil from answering the phone, never answer the door, drink mainly at home, put the lie into socialize and the fun into dysfunctional, say all the right things to all the wrong people, send Christmas cards to people they don't like, annually reflect upon all their failures, attend midnight mass drunk, pray for deliverance, give money to charity, listen to the Salvation Army band, watch crap TV programs, cry a lot, phone a friend, discover we're all in the same boat, make New Year's resolutions, regain clarity, recover. Thank you. That's the first one. The second one is called Producer of Visions, which is a description of what the ghosts are like in Dickens's Christmas Carol, apparently. The ghost of Christmas past. I walk the streets where I used to live with you in 1905. Familiar in their unfamiliarity. I stare through our old front window. In my reflection, I see you. I forgot to remember to forget how beautiful you were before things went awry. You once explained how a tricky piece of knitting could be ruined if you missed a stitch. Life too lost its pattern. I'm left staring at a Christmas scene in our old home. Reflections refracted. I see you there too. Were you ever really there at all? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Des. Thank you. Great stuff as usual. Now, we'll move on, something different now, if they're ready to go. And paying attention, we'll know about the shock in a minute. Will you please welcome, you're all ready for this, we all love it, Jamie McCormack.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Okay, you've caught me slightly unawares here. I don't know if you'd warned me in the chat, but oh, sorry, I was in mid-conversation with my son there. Right, I was hoping I would have more time so I could decide what I was going to do because
I'll come back to you. We'll get somebody else up and come back to you. Is that okay?
Oh yes, aye, that would be perfect, Finn. Thank you very much. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
We've got to get you right. Yeah. All right. Okay, someone's got to go. Ian, we'll have another debutant. Sorry, get your best surprise. I do that. Okay, another like of the bot from the Blue debutant. Will you please warmly welcome to our little family, Ian.
Hiya, hello Finn and everyone. Thanks for having me. It's much appreciated. So writing is a new thing, really new to me. And a friend on here just said, well, yeah, just, get out there and write and listen. So I've got two bits tonight. One's a bit political and the other one's, because it's Christmas, it's a little bit more cheerful, kind of about love. So here's the first one. It's called Life and Dreams. God, what's wrong with this capitalist system? Just 0 hours contracts and politicians with their twisted wisdom. Mum's commute, cleaning 50 hours a week. The food on the table while suits ignore, turning a cheek. In Europe, she had a little protection. Now terms and conditions chipped away, leaving her sad reflection. She has no time or choice, working all hours to feed her son, while his Adidas pounds the streets to make money to help his mum. He's ducking and diving, making moves on the street and selling his raps as his gear so sweet. Building his wealth, he wants to move out and leave behind the dirty estate, that he has no doubt. You call me a socialist? Don't make me laugh. While you sit in your big house, you're just elegantly daft. You say equal opportunity? Now here's the thing. Privatise unis with no money for tuition, just a tight purse string. You say prospects? No industry or manufacturing around, just the noise of dying retail and call centres abound. You say security? Social housing decimated in the Thatcher Revolution. History said this isn't a solution. New builds, expensive, warm and inviting with lax regulation, but leaking with capitalist exploitation. She hears the efficient hum of council offices packed with people from the city, yet again robbing her of her remaining dignity. Wages acquired by blistered hands is continuously short as she sadly prays for financial support. Once again, it's her last resort. And through the dirty window, she glances at a jet plane in the sky. She traded her dreams for yet another exhausted sigh. There you go. It's a bit moody, a bit depressing. So I've got one more here. So this one's called A Day in the Life of Love. It's about a former relationship a long time ago. Happens very fast, very intense, a lot of fun. Yeah, so here we go. Fingers danced across the keyboard while images appeared like a neon billboard. We started a new chapter with names, conversations, descriptions and banter. I know she's perfection as I shave with a blade and think about connection. Flash of plastic, we'll be having a lot of fun. It's barely 6 p.m. and the night is young. Taking our seats as they face the twilight. Fingers crossed there'll be no sleep tonight. Laughing, glasses clink as the wine is poured, smiling as she talks. I'm never bored. Flirting in full swing, tonight is cheeky and fun, not to mention she's got a nice bum. More talking, we both scored with dopamine lighting our brains like memory boards. Did a one night stand turn into an extended fling? No, that ain't my thing. So both laughing as I hail a taxi, I'll steal a kiss as she says she's taken my fancy. Foot down as the urban sprawl passes us by, we both turn and give each other the eye. Sitting back, we enjoy the ride, for we know it's a love story, straight out of West Side. Stumbling out the taxi, alcohol in action, our passion enhanced with its chemical reaction. She lets her hair down as we saunter inside. I hear the stone roses as our hands glide. Laughing as I give her a crafty wink, those nighttime hours race by in a blink. Both animalistic yet unguarded, I'm buzzing in the brain as clothes are quickly discarded. Morning after, headphones on, my feet pound the street with a little bounce to the beat. Bowling in a cafe, hangover with bullets in the brain, I pop a codeine to ease the pain. Buddy plonks a cup of tea in the empty space. What's that smile all over your Chevy Chase? I laugh, but never say, for our secrets are quietly locked away in my own private highway.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow. Great. Glad you made it. Glad you came.
Thanks
Very much enjoyed that. Hope to have you back again.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Okay. Let's see if Jimmy's ready this time. Ready, Jimmy?
Hello. Okay, right. It's amazing how a bit of pressure kind of focuses the mind. Right. I'm gonna do one. This is written in Doric, and I wrote this when my bairns were away. Bairns being children, and this is called Doric Lullaby. Wished his bairn, his mom is here, had my hand and dinner fear. I'll show you to your inner clothes, you're safe and warm here in my boat. Lay your judgerin hajer wish. There's no bogeyman is here as long as mommy hugs you near. Your funart and the days been long. Say hearken to my sleepy song. You're in our heavy, let 'em fall. Let your sail just drift away. The moon is up, the stars are out. It's past the time to run about. It's time for bairns to run in streams. It's time for bairns to run in dreams o'er fairy hills through kelpie streams. Your dreams will all be long and sweet. See, there's no need to fuss and greet. Doon your heap, lie still and calm. Nighty night, my bonny wee lamb. Well, thank you. Have I got time? Have I got time for a wee quick Christmassy something?
Of course you have. We all agree, yeah? Time for one more?
Okay.
Yeah.
And this actually, this is gonna be a spoken word. It's not quite poetry. And it wasn't intended for tonight. It was just supposed to be a bit of daftness that I posted up on Facebook earlier. But Kathy Carson suggested that it would be an idea to say it tonight. So I'm going to go for it. Although I can't help but feel that Jeff Cottrell would do this far more justice than I can. Okay. This is called The 12 Days of Christmas. Oh, sorry, I wet my whistle. Oh. Dear Sir / Madam, whilst I appreciate the generous nature of spirit displayed by your over-enthusiastic gift-giving, your obsession with wildfowl is one that I do not share, and my household is entirely inadequately equipped for the practical day-to-day realities of sharing my home with so many swans. On receipt of the gold rings on day 5, I temporarily thought that maybe I had been too harsh in my judgment of you and that things were about to look up, but it was back to the same old bird-based nonsense on days 6 and 7. After a week of this weirdness, my mood is now one of incandescent rage. I wish I could describe your gifts as thoughtful, but I would wager that in actuality, very little thought has been put into your purchases of these birds for someone who lives in a mid-terrace property with a small back garden. And don't get me started on the possible privacy laws that have been bent or broken in order for you to obtain my address. Please refrain from sending me any more of your presents, or I shall be forced to involve the relevant authorities in order to curb your gift-giving enthusiasm. Yours sincerely, J.M. McCormick.
Yes, Jimmy, legend.
Woo! That's terrific, Julie. Always surprises and always wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Very full of that. Okay, we're going to go now with another first timer, like I brought from the blue. Would you please give a welcome to Anne Atkins? Anne.
I was going to do my Christmassy one, but I think about half of you have already heard it, so I've got another one first. I might do that after. This is dedicated to my hairdresser. It's kind of Christmassy. Snow white scurries hood pulled up to the end of the high street in this run-down backwater town, past the charity shop display of cast-off ball gowns gathering dust, past the library window where children's coloured-in characters cling to the glass, masking forlorn faces slouched at screens, searching for jobs, lottery results, and playing solitaire, past the Turkish barber, kebab shop, and Aladdin's rugs, the only hint of faraway places beyond this. She arrives at a magical glass-fronted palace where with shampoo, scissors, straighteners, and sprays, transformations are made. Is it the outcome she goes for, or because for an hour or two, she's made to feel special by the only man she knows who actually listens? As he fights the signs of aging with eyes blow dry and extensions, she moans about her handsome prince. He's not so handsome now, his hairline's receding and his six-pack is more like a keg. He didn't quite deliver on the happily ever after. Cleaning up after 7 dwarfs was easier than after him and the other 2 kids, under the interference of the spoilt prince's wicked witch mother, whose pointless, poisonous, constant criticism makes her want to run away again and threatens her existence. One last flourish, then the wizard holds up a mirror. She pays, says, "See you next time." He sweeps the floor before the next disenchanted princess takes the chair. Maybe Rapunzel wants to let down her hair once more, or Cinders has tickets to Prince Charming's golf club ball. The taxi's booked for midnight. Her ugly sister wouldn't babysit any later, so she gets to swap slippers and ball gown for a rare night out on the town. At the end of the day, the wizard packs away his Steinley wand, wipes his mirror, sweeps the shattered dreams from the floor. Exhausted from coffee, chat and guidance counselling, looks for the genie in the bottom of the bottle and wonders when his prince will come. Okay, I'll do my Christmassy one because Danny gets a run out at Christmas. I'll put it away for another year after. Might even write a new one for next year, you never know. It's the night before Christmas, lights twinkle on houses as stressed out wives argue with spouses. Where's the spare sellotape I asked you to buy? Red-faced, he almost chokes on a mince pie. We've presents to wrap and the local shop's closed. The Christmas spirit's open, so no driving to town. How will we wrap our princess's crown? Don't worry, my dear, I'm sure we can manage. I'll ask the neighbour if there's some in his garage. So he pops next door, where the scene is quite different. No cards have been sent, no trees, no presents. The old fella sits in his chair all alone, no one to call. There's dust on the phone. I'm really sorry to bother you, mate, but I'm in trouble with the missus. We're out of sellotape. The old fella rummaged through an aged biscuit tin, found a roll and came back with a grin. The stressed out spouse was so happy he hugged him and asked, "What are you doing in the morning?" The old man frowned and shaking his head said, "Nothing, lad. I'll probably just stay in bed." "Then come to us, please. You'll be most welcome. My wife's bought enough food to last until autumn." "I wouldn't want to intrude," the old man said, and the husband left, hanging his head. Christmas morning, the old man hears a knock on the door. A fairy princess in a crown and sparkling ball gown said, "Me and Mummy and Daddy want you to come round." The old man smiled. He couldn't refuse. Donned his coat, hat and scarf and changed his slippers for shoes. After dinner, the fairy princess asked, "Can I grant you a wish?" "My dear," said the old man, "you already did." Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you. That was wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for popping by. Thanks for coming. Great. we're going to move on now. And if someone has just been to, I try to just wonder what it was, a non-singing Christmas carol concert, gig, whatever. So welcome, Fiona Jane Brown. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Yes, it was my church service and they recorded carols. So I sung behind my mask because nobody stopped me singing. Anyway, for those of you that don't know me, JB and I are from the same geographical area. So my poem is also in the Doric dialect, and it's my translation of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." I wrote it 2 years ago, and it's equally funny now, and I really like it. It's a modern twist. So here we go. It's my only piece. So in case I forget, Merry Christmas, everybody, and a very safe New Year wherever you are and whatever you're doing. So here we go. 'Twas the night afore Christmas, fin I through the hoose. Nae a crater was steering, nae even a moose, 'cause the cat just ate in this morning. My stockings were hung on the clay's horse with care, in hopes that before the morn I'd move it fae there. The bairns were nae nestled snug in their beds. Oh no, 'twas vodka test tubes and gin cocktails that danced in their heads, 'cause my twar in their 20s and were at the young farmer's dance. My man was snoring on the settee with his P&J in his lap. Syne I was beating my brains, the presents and bonny paper to hap. Fan out in the garden there arose like a hullabaloo. I flung open the blinds to see if it was a do. With a clay full of Blot wiped off the steam to fin out fit and fa and who they were doing. The mean on the breast of the newfound snaw got athing outside shine and sparkle and a'. Fan fit to my wondering een should appear, but a massive reed truck pinted alongside with red deer. We a muckle fat owsen, nae lively nor quick, I dooted canna be all St. Nick. Mair rapid than meows his curses they come, he ca'd that truck athing on earth by name. No dash it and blast it, you feel all wreck. With your sudden death breaks and you broke my neck. Never again will I buy a great bloody larry for Arnold Clark. They're nae to be trusted, nae a vehicle up to the mark. Near throw away fe's porch and build side me ye did ca. You've dat near feared yon coos at clitter to your wa. The grim words to the air he made flee, and I thought, there's a manny needing a cup of tea. Sign on with my rubber beats and winter coat, and out to the door to the fat manny roaring for his throat. Hey men, you're nae wise to bide out swearing at your van like that. Come in by and hae a cuppy and a sit down and a chat. You can call the AA for your mobile phone. And surely they'll be the recht folk I'd fetch to moan. Oh me, you're a sicht for sair een, said the manny in greed. I'm meant to be delivering orders for Argos afore midnight, but this old crate has given me nothing but trouble, all right. Signing he calm, blowing his hands that were blue gall, pulled off his reed furry hat to reveal a head that was bald. He'd a sunty beard recht in yoch, feit and hairy and covered in frost, so I bid him sit down and woke up mine host. Hey Davy, waken up! Sunty's here and needing some tea. You keep him occupied, while I fill the kettle and pick Christmas music on to play. My man for his slumber did recht of all loup up, and offered Sunty something stronger to sup. Syne as Davy and Sunty made inroads to the Glenmorangie, I made the tea and then broke up a new chocolate orangey. Fine time we had after our guest ca'd the mechanic, for said he'd be an hour or twa with his tools and nae to panic. He ca'd up his boss and tell't him he was stranded, that his sleigh wasna running and lucky he'd land it. Could he send somebody the parcels to collect? 'Cause nae why he would get them out on time when the engine was wrecked. Oh me, what a stooshy I could hear on the phone. But the boss man he promised he'd do all that could be done. So the chocolate we scoffed as Sunty did regale us with tales of delivery disasters and customers beyond the pale. A look in their een and a tilt to their heed. You aye ken it's a person you've to dread. You darna speak a word, but man gan strach to your work. giving them their iPhones and tablets for glow in the mirk. I felt sorry for the peer breed wi' eyes woes. But it's aye to the local crafters and folkies that I goes. Nae factory-made commerce and cheap tat for me. Only ancient woolies tinsel and baubles on my tree. I held my tongue and let the manny ramble. I spotted the boiler-suited mechanic up the path he did amble. Another glass for the AA, and the boys round the lowin fire did hunch. Outside to the muckle truck, o'er the snaw I did trunch. Opened the cab, found the button that the bonnet did flip. Shone my torch on the engine and saw recht awa the fault that had caused the crater to grind to a halt. A muckle moose and a blow the metal was coorin', and in its wee teeth a wire it was chewin'. Get the hell out of there, you blasted wee naff, or like a greed farmer's wife, I'll cut your tail off. Syne the beastie squealed and jumped out into the snaw, leaving me to wonder who it could have survived it a'. But nae time was there for puzzling on mysteries sick like. I went back, grabbed the mechanic and Sunty, showed them that the moosey had deen to his truck. Fix that wi' electrical tape. It should start with some luck, says I wi' a smile, kenning that Sunty would never be stuck when he'd met a farmer's wife fa her wire round Kent. Ony engine or vehicle since her youth she had spent helping in her father's garage and repairing her brother's model cars. For other quines were hanging out in city bars. Syne the truck seen roared into life after mechanic's attention, and Sunty was recht glad the truth I said I wouldna mention, that fan it comes down to it, you maun agree and you can, that the best man for a job is a woman. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, Happy Christmas to a', and to a good night. Thank you.
That was grand. That was grand. That was. I think everybody enjoyed that one. Wow. Okay. We're going from the northeast back across the world. Michael Collins, you ready to go, sir?
Hi, I got here late, but I hope this is okay. And it's called Christmas, not rap. No, I'm not a rapper. I seek a different style, more eloquent, more subtle, more elegant in its exposition, less exhausting in its physicality. A one more able to express a greater reality of the current situation and the desperation of the man and the woman in the street who every day you meet, who in turning to false doctrines lack true spirituality. There is no individuality that is separate from the state. The doors of perception closed. Any sense of self is qualified. As someone at some airport or at some border crossing strips you of your pride, and you are tried again because of the sins of evil others, that forces you to reconsider again just who are your sisters, who are your brothers. No, I'm not a rapper. I cannot rap. And because others can, I really do not know how much that proves. Yet maybe, and perhaps, when there is nothing left to lose, this form of poetic diversion is one I may someday come to choose. And this world has gone to hell. And all the coins in every wishing well, and every tarot card, and every crystal ball have failed to foretell if there ever will be a ringing of the living bell, or some fool playing God, sounding out an Armageddon death knell. So come all ye faithful, and be appropriately grateful. There is a turkey being slaughtered and a pig being carved. There are happy families singing, and it is time for giving. And all is mighty fine and dandy. Unless you are a turkey or a pig. Thank you. Or Christmas one. I'm not a fan of Christmas, folks. Sorry.
I'll have a little twist at the end. Thank you. Very seasonal. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Okay. Are we ready? Sit back, relax. It's Gary H. Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dear. Oh. I'm going to stop a trend. Because normally when I come to the Blot, I always do something radical, controversial, which I'll just end up laughing for a week at. But no. Yes, it's Christmas. And last Christmas, I gave you my heart. And yes, the old man did have a great big fart. But why shall we all sit here waiting to Finn to say our name so we can evoke words that come from our soul and we write again and again? Yes, it's Christmas time, that time of year we meant to celebrate it with a cheer. Take a moment, just a moment, to look at 2020, a year where we gave the NHS the clap and where bio-survivors gave us pandemic called Dominic. A year where we put nurses and doctors and surgeons in isolation. Ignorant me didn't think when they were on the front line, they can't go shopping and meet their friends and participate in some vacation. Let's be thankful. Let's raise a proper cheer for my dear friend and her peers, Kathy Carson. Every day she experiences infinite amount of traumas we only see on pay-per-view streaming. A year where Trump, oh no, he's not gone yet, has divided us, then refused to leave on a midnight train to Georgia, but hope he's leaving when Biden takes over on a midnight train to Georgia. I really like that line. There's hope. We need to be kinder. Be kinder for hope. A year where it took a world record time. Roy Castle will be free because he was on dedication. A record break of 8 minutes, 46 seconds for my colour just to matter. What a time it took to bring us all together. What a time, what a year, what a century. Will it be when we can all be kinder? Before we raise a glass, let's make a plan. Not to be a slave to fear. Not even watching. I want to. Michael, I can see you pushing your hair back. Oh, this is you. I want to make a state law that a blanket is not just for a pig. Warmth, help, a blanket is to wrap around a homeless person in our shop doorways. And yes, they are pig sites. Put your love around those despair. We all need somebody who just cares. Earlier, I just asked somebody for a hug and it came with 0.9 seconds and I still feel their hug. The person who is struggling to make ends meet, be kind. Go into your larder, or if you're northern, go into your pantry. This is the 21st century. Surely we all deserve something to eat. The single mum who does 2 jobs, contact her. Christmas Day, congratulate her. Her children are our future. They will be our carers. They'll be wiping our bums when 1 in 4 of us will get dementia. Don't forget her. 400 years of oppressed slavery by those who look us down to chronic state of poverty. We're used now to be worn and norm. Be abused, used, worn is now the norm. But the reality, at a time, I want you to go, just go and celebrate. And by Boxing Day, you do what's right and not what is right. So because you know it's right. It's not right to stay away silent. Remember, the words of Pastor Martin. Then they came for the Jews. And I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me. There was no one left for me to speak for me. Splash! There goes another statue, a slave owner into the River Avon trash. Now, Don't let us do more than just dredge it up. Don't clean it. Make it glossy, or even make it glossy. Don't even put it into a National Heritage Museum, paid for money from the National Lottery. No. No, Tim, listen to this. Let it remain like slaves, purchased on a chain, dirty and worthy and inhumane. Splish Mash is having a bath, and that's what I call a whitewash. We have forgotten our ancestors. I've nicked that line from Mary Angelou, but we've still forgotten our ancestors. Our children no longer give us honour. Do we really deserve honour? Find a veteran. Go on, I dare you, find a veteran. And on Christmas Day, wrap a tinsel around them and just wish them Merry Christmas as we appreciate them, remember them, honour them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you don't believe in Christ, that we aim to have a global party. It really doesn't matter where you point the prayer mat. You can point it to the east, west, and south. We can all kneel and pray to eradicate our hate. Kindness can annihilate all atrocities. It's a weapon that can overcome WMDs. And for you, those who can't remember Tony Blair, that stands for Weapons of Mass Destruction. Kindness can overcome. Yes, we shall overcome. Whatever gender, say it louder, be it kinder. If someone is home alone, honestly, put ears up. If someone is home alone on Christmas Day, don't wait for the sequel. Visit, phone, text, light a candle. Don't wait till you see them dying on Panorama or you decided to play your Netflix box set. Let them know you're important. Let them know that existence matters. Because you know what? It's suicide, the end of life, I fear. Okay, on this merry night, you may think this next bit's a bit trivial, but I don't want to wait till the end of the night to say thank you to your host who pays the Zoom bills so we can participate and put our egos over the screen. Finn, Christina, Rosa, Nick and Clive, etc., has kept us all, kept the ink flowing and keeping us all feeling alive, not letting us crumble. You knew I had to crumble somewhere. So we thank them with more than CCs. I want you now, literally now, go on chat. I want you to send a direct message saying thank you. Thank you for keeping my creativity going, giving me a voice, giving me meeting people from Australia to Kenya to Special K. Do it now. Take a breath while I take a breath and remember. Send it direct to Sandra. This is the most important part of my poem. It's not as funny like of Sabre Turkey. The poet, a poet is not just for Christmas. I ask you, no matter what tier you on, 1, 2, 3 or 4, don't let a poet be alone on this day of hope. We have a responsibility to check out one and all. Our poets on their own, all their stanzas, they bring us together. It's friends, family. Skylar said, I'm going to see my family because we're all together. Our poets together in irony, satirical truth and humour. 25, 12, 20. Check out your friends, brothers and sisters. Merry Christmas, everyone. P.S. I want you to make all a resolution. No, you don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to be nice to your little brother or your mother-in-law. I want you for 2010 plus 1, 2021 is just to be kinder. Woo! I thank you.
Oh, Gary. Love you, mate. Thank you very much indeed. That was heartfelt. That was fantastic. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Wow. Right. I'm getting emotional. Okay, next one, not getting emotional. Next up, Kathy Carson.
Well, Kathy Carson is a bit emotional after that. Thanks, Gary. Love you lots, man.
I did check out the poem with Kathy earlier this afternoon, see if it's okay.
Poem's perfect, man. Perfect. So I'm just I don't have a Christmas one, but this one mentions Christmas in the first line, so I'm gonna do it, and some of you may have heard it before. It's the Saturday before Christmas, and God, I swear that every damn soul in Corn Market seems intent on walking through me. My ears are bitten and bone marrow cold. And Leo holds my hand like he did as a toddler, but now 18 years old. His height is 6'2", but his gait is only slightly better, and he walks head down, avoids eye contact, uses the rhythm of my steps as a guide, stiffens, stops. Coffee, he shouts loud enough that people stir, then coffee again. And he lets go of my hand to flap his long arms and stamp his feet, and no coffee and no nonsense. We need to get home, son. I reach out a hand, but he bats it away and anchors to the ground. Ignores me. I need to choose my battles. Don't you dare, I mutter. Don't you dare have a meltdown in the middle of Corn Market. Not today, son. Please. The pain in my chest reminds me to breathe, and teenagers are already circling with mobile phones at the ready. When he was younger, the meltdowns would terrify me. He would throw himself to the ground, limbs flailing, while I froze, not knowing how to make this stop. And after, I would sit on the floor with his head in my lap and stroke his hair. As much to soothe myself as him, I had no idea how to love this child. I was empty, hollow, as if someone had carved out my core. And it was years before I realized I was grieving for the healthy child I thought I had a right to, for the absent father who couldn't cope, for all that I used to be and all that I would never become. But I remember the exact moment it changed. You see, Leo was 6 and we were on holiday in this dilapidated 2-berth caravan in Portrush. It had rained all week. And desperate to be outside, we donned raincoats, Wellingtons, headed to the rock pools with buckets and nets in hand, and Leo hunkered down, reached out, touched the water with his fingers, giggled as the ripples made their way to the edge. His laughter, birdsong in the air. Circles, he boasted, as if he had invented them. And then he looked straight at me. Now, not past me, not through me, but straight at me. His eyes locked on mine, and I saw for the first time the way that sunlight sprinkled gold dust on his eyelashes, the way that laughter punctured his cheeks with dimples. Yes, Leo, you clever boy. Those are circles. But he was gone again, as quickly as he had arrived, silent once more, face flat. But it didn't matter, you see, something had connected. We had connected. My boy was reachable. I can make this happen again. In Corn Market, the streetlights turned raindrops to fireflies above our heads, and I study Leo for signs that this is something other than defiance, but he isn't rocking on his feet or tapping on his thigh, and there is no low hum that usually comes before an episode. That bugger is huffing. Come on, son, I try. Immediately know that the tone was too harsh. Watch him crumple and tears sear his face. Nothing is worth this. Standing my ground isn't worth this. That coffee smells good. Choose your battles, I remind myself. The guilt is so heavy, I have trouble stepping towards him with my outstretched hand. Come on, big man, I say. Let's go and get that coffee, eh? And there it is, that smile. The one that punctures his cheeks with dimples as he looks straight at me. See, I made it happen again. And my forever boy takes my hand. Thank you, everyone. Happy Christmas.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you. Thank you. Wow, wonderful as usual. Thank you. Always a pleasure. Okay, we'll come back across to Australia now. And yeah, someone is keep their eyes open for this. It's getting tired. Please welcome back. I've been here for a few, but welcome back, Skylar.
Hey everyone. It's always absolutely terrifying going up to Kathy because she's so amazing, but I'm going to completely lower the tone of this whole event. And you'll just have to all wear it because it's the only Christmas poem I've got. Oh Christmas tree, deliver me some pornography. Do not give me handkerchiefs, wooden spoons or kitchen sieves. Oh Christmas tree, I beg of thee, pornography. I have been so very good, selfless deeds where'er I could. Now it's time for my reward, and all I want is porn, hardcore. A tiny taste of the erotic, a steamboat man with eyes hypnotic. Some giant erections, if you please, and I'm not talking Christmas trees. Although your balls are hung to please and you're bearing gifts wrapped up to tease, all I want is romance to read so I can lose myself this Christmas Eve. Give me a hero I can undress in my mind when lunch gets tedious. An imaginary jaw I can caress is all I want this Christmas. Oh Christmas tree, I beg of thee pornography. Others fantasize of a lunch served hot. My only thoughts are of my G-spot. Please do not give me that condescending look. I only ask for a damn good book. One that transports me away to a world of passion without delay, of moonlit beaches and crashing waves, timeless romance and endless days, scenes I can play in my head to escape the boredom of an empty bed. Oh Christmas tree, you must give me what I need, so as this Christmas day gets done, in my head at least, I'll have some fun. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
It's very different from my usual stuff, but you know, a bit of fun. I've got to go to bed, guys. I've got about 2.5 hours before I have to go to work, so I need to catch some Z's. I've pulled an all-nighter, but have a beautiful Christmas if I don't see you guys before then. Thank you for being my 2020 family. I love you so much. You're all incredible, and I will see you in 2021.
Thank you, Skylar. Thank you. Have a great Christmas yourself and hope you get everything you want for Christmas. Right. We're moving on now. See where we are. Okay. Would you please welcome Moira Stevens, please.
Hi. Okay, so I've got this poem it's not Christmas, but it is December. So it's called 2020 Vision. 2020, December, the end of a year to remember, a year to forget, to look back on with horror, sadness, regret. And yet, as we flooded the internet, as face-to-face time turned to FaceTime and Zoom time in our room time, in a world united in isolation, in separation, we found consolation, turning online, validation, whatever our station, status or nation, reaching across the world in all directions, words forged connections, collections of artists, making paintings, musical creations, sharing poetry, photography, separated by geography, we came together, laughed at clever memes, acknowledged universal themes of love and loneliness, illness and hopefulness, found happiness, things to make us smile, help us to while away the hours, knew that others felt as we did, others did what we did. the silver lining, finding the common threads, binding us, joining us, reminding us that however distant we may be from friends and family, community does not require proximity. It merely requires you and me. So now we look ahead with clarity, with 2020 vision, to see what we can be, what we can do here in this new year to make for everyone in 2021 a better world, a better place, to support and embrace every member of the human race. So that's that one, and the other one. So finishing off Christmas with a wee dram. So this is called To E or Not to E? That is the question. To E or not to E? That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the glass to taste the Irish or the Scotch, to take up the bottle gainst the sea of troubles, and by sipping end them, to sip and taste yet more, and by that sip to say that we prefer the whiskey or the whiskey from the land of green or tartan. What soft, what light into my glass pours. It is the Scotch, and smooth is its taste. The quality of Irish is not strained. It droppeth as the tawny rain from heaven upon the tongue beneath. It is taste blessed. It is a tumbler which I see before me, the glass within mine hand. Come, let me drink thee. I taste thee now, and yes, I taste thee again. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day, that art more imbibed and I less temperate? Christlandsha, and let slip the golden dram, distillation of kings, water of life, this liquid gold, this amber drink, this whiskey. Uneasy lies the head that drinks it down. Thank you. So there we go.
Thank you very much. Yeah, good advice, and then a nice ode to whiskey. Thank you. Okay, next up we have Noah. Now I've just got to make him host because he's wanting to do some screen sharing with us.
Thank you, Finn.
Right, that's you. Change back one. Change back once you've done. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't let this. I won't overtake the power of the host from you. So first of all, let me get on my my non-secular poet hat for the end of the year in tribute to Finn's. What was it? Poets with Hats On. So so today I'm going to do something a little different. In all seriousness, so a friend of mine who was a terrific poet, is named by James Hanzik. He passed away last weekend. So today, instead, I'm going to actually show one of his pieces. I'm not going to read my own poetry today. James was, he's based in Portland, Oregon for, I don't know, about roughly the last 20 years. And before that, he was in New York City back in like the late 80s and the early 90s. And I actually met him via being in a car with him for like 5 days. While we went on this crazy poet tour up and down the West Coast, hitting places just everywhere from Big Sur up to Seattle. And it was a lot wilder than I'm actually making that sound. And certainly there were certain base spots in that trip where it's amazing we lived. And I can certainly think of a moment with a giant boulder bigger than the car that he managed to drive around and save our lives. So, so this piece is that I'm going to put on is he was a bit more than a poet. He was also just really a lover of life and a bit of a philosopher. He also did a lot of photography and art and filming. So this piece is something I always loved. And like, I don't know, about 13 years ago, me and two others were the featured poets on the Oxford University Press blog. And I begged him if I could put this up there, and he he reticently agreed because he felt like, you know, it's like, oh, I didn't totally finish it, I don't know, but I begged him because I just thought it was glorious. So this is something where the filmmaking is his, the words is his, the performance is his, the sounds are his. It's a little experimental. So I'm going to start this off. So let me share my screen. There we go. So, whoops, and I just shut everything off. There we go. Can you all see my screen, I hope? If not, just start screaming at me. All right, so this is called Time Factory, which is the first part of it.
So I fucking worked in the fucking Time Factory before the dream bomb blew it apart. Well, what the fuck do we have now? Dreams unstuck, time out of joint, people not knowing where or when to do. I get up in the morning, my clock tick-tock, ringing me awake, then check my watch, double check on the way in, get in my car and drive in at 7:37 exact. Traffic always good along the way. Drive right past the scavengers, out of time, out of place. Get my coffee along the way, and I was punctual. I punched the time clock on the door 5 minutes to 8. I worked under Jack Smith, a veteran of the 5-day, 35-minute war. He was in the shit when they stormed the clock tower. He was in the trenches firing off the minute missiles and sleep acid. He started coughing. What? When? Where? I got the mask on just in time. He kept on firing. You know the story, then we broke down the doors. We fought our way in, up the steps, step by step. We hit the clockworks. The cute, shit, slimy bastards put up a fight, but made it through. We reset their clock. You've heard the story. The last thing Johnny On did, just bleeding in his last minute, he moved the dial back to 35 minutes. He moved it back with his own hands. It was later on the generals. They changed the calendar back to 5 days, but Johnny moved that dial back to on time, our time, the right time. 5 days, 35 minutes, well worth fighting for. So I punched in and worked my ship. The ore came in, bulldozed off the scumlands, round hills, valleys, trees, earth, mountains. We took it all in by the cartload, by the truckload, by the train loaded into the smelter. It went right nice. I'd catch it out of the corner of my eye once in a while. Not that I stopped working. My hands kept moving. I did not stop, I tell you, but I'd see the sparks fly in the red glowing furnaces and the smoke rising, the big cranes moving down the line, carrying the glowing bars of time. But it's not like time would stop. I kept on moving. I kept on working.
All right, thank you all very much. That's the late, great James Honzik. Thank you for letting me sit through that. And I am going to, let me just hand this off to, back to Finn.
Okay, no, thank you. That was wow, that was different. That was really great, really enjoyable. Just it's just said there, taking a very interesting journey with that. You never know what you're going to get on these Zoom things. This is what I love about the Blot. You never know what's going to turn up. It's great. Okay, would you please? Okay, we're going to have another Blot debutante now. Would you please welcome Kevin Bamboo?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Cool, excellent. Thanks, Finn. So, yeah, my first time on Blot from the Blue. I think Finn's seen me on Away with Words, I think, is where my first few ones were started. And then I noticed he posted something on Facebook recently regarding almost like an imaginary therapy session, really, wasn't it, Finn? From what I remember. And I think about 10 of us were, kind of contributed to it. Recently, I think he read the whole piece out at Aberdeenshire Folk Club. He had a 20-minute slot there. So tonight I want to read my piece from that. And yeah, it's just basically an open therapy session almost to explain your kind of confessions of a poet, really. I suppose would you say that's what it's like, really, Finn, along that lines, or would you?
Sorry, I'm muted. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's just, poets with angst. We all have it, imaginary or not. We all have that times where we go, oh my God. So that's what it's about.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's a really, really great concept. So it was really good to be part of it. So, and I think we're going to do a little bit more with that, possibly. There's going to be a few of us all read our pieces together at some point, possibly.
We're going to try and do that in the new year, try and organise getting the 9-10 of us or whatever. If anyone else wants to join, please send me your problems.
Brilliant. Before I start, I've got to say I'm really, really loving the array of Scottish accents tonight, because yeah, it's made me sit here and just been like sitting here closing my eyes and being, can you listen to that? It's amazing. It's just such a lovely sound, such a lovely accent. Big on voices, big on accents, and really always enjoy. I must have heard probably about 5 or 6 different Scottish accents tonight, I think. So brilliant. Right, I'm going to crack on now and go with my little piece. So it's untitled, but it's part of the imaginary therapy session. So I blame my father, the published poet from several decades ago, but it's always in me, this bug, this drug, this constant flood of prose that forces me to take another glug. We always want someone to blame, even as the words continue to spill out of me. Who are you? Where do these relentless ideas come from? Flowing as a tap that lost its valve. Just when it eases, the eye of the storm, another rush comes. Idea, idea, idea. Create, create, create. Push, push, push. Stop. No. This is too much. I can't get it out quick enough. Please. Go gently on my mind. Do not hug me, clog me, bog me down. I want to share it all. Just give me a chance to get some of this out. Opportunity comes, but the fear is there. Irrational, self-judging, all those musings still fucking cached up inside. Clogging, 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 but I buckle and cancel. The fear has won. Opportunity comes, but the fear is still there. Fuck you, fear, I silently curdle from within my gut. You won't win this time. I have to get this out. Brain, give me 10 minutes to make more room. I sweat, the anxiety grows, the first show nears. I promise myself I won't back out, not this time. I'm a mess. A simple task. Sipping some water becomes an alien action. Where has this confidence bashing intensity come from? Come on, you need this. Pull it together, soldier on. 1 minute to go. Audience settled. They've seen 1 or 2. Who gives a fuck about you? I fettle and thumb through my pages. My words to be heard, to be misheard for the first time. Prepare to walk on, ready for your cue, your stimulus. I'm fucking shaking so much inside, maybe outside too. I swear they can all hear my bones rattling as I begin my walk to the mic. Ladies and gents, Kev, bamboo. For all the world and 3 minutes, I feel every single eye on me. I miss words, pronounce them wrong. Can't even say them in the normal way that I do. Breathe. I fuck up, but I carry on. Not today, fear. Not today, anxiety. Not today, clogged up head. It's not the best. I'm my own worst critic. Almost scoring myself during every line of delivery. I get through it. I get my rhythm, my momentum and my delivery back. And we're done. Exhilaration and elation. Apprehension lifted. Wow, that was fucking great. It's out there, not stuck in here finally. Let's go again. The bug I blamed my father for, the published poet from several decades ago. The bug is still there. The drug is still there. This flood of prose that forces me to take another glug is still there. It is within me, this creative addiction. This is what brings me a mixture of emotions. Meanwhile, my brain lines up the next 53,281 ideas. That's me, all done. Thanks, Finn, so much. Merry Christmas, possibly Happy New Year. I don't think we'll do another one. But yeah, thanks to be a part. Great to be a part of it.
Thanks, Kev. Yeah, that was great. Yeah. Big hand for Kev, bearing his soul.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
All right, cheers, man. Thank you. All right, moving on to another Box Review regular. Please welcome Christine Fowler. Unmute yourself, Christine.
There. Better? I've got 3 or 4, but they're very, very short ones. My video won't start for some reason, so I'll just read. Is that okay? First one's called Crumpled Hills. The planet coughed and choked, annihilating humanity at a stroke. So once again, dragons met on the crumpled hills. Wakened the giant from his sleep, and pastoral sheep scurried from underfoot, and fairy folk danced in rings to the music the songbird sings. No wastelands, decimated by man, nature had returned to its one true plan. That's the first one for my Gaia series. The second one is for the cat lovers amongst us. And it's about the true essence of cat, really. It's called Ego, Thy Name is Cat. I am a tomcat, unafraid. As I stalk the path, I swagger and strut, swish my tail as my buttocks swing side to side. I call out at night, howl and hollow, I'm here now. I leap onto walls, survey all I see. I am the king, no queen for me. Mollies are what I seek as I take my pleasure. I decimate the mice, cull the birds. I rattle the bins. Loudly, I announce my return. Open the door, servants, I shout. Warm air hits the cold. The door slides open. I swagger inside. This is the second one. This very short one I did on this evening when I went for a little walk along our cycle path, which is behind where I live, and it's called a winter walk. Golden globes shine in moonlight against the deepest twilight blue, illuminating the cycle path, populated only by a myriad bird cries that broke the evening into song as a choir of birds together tweeted the winter solstice is nigh. So Nights will lighten the now darkened sky, and with the light a promise of a year fresh new, of springtime breezes and summer skies, then autumn leaves and colours bright, before the cycle of the year turns back to this darkened night. And then the last one is a nod to Christmas. Christmas greeting one and all from Santa's festive hall, packed with toys, chocolate treats, and lots of nice things to eat. Rudolph and his reindeer chums smiling broadly as they hum, Christmas carols filled with words of joy to gladden the heart of each girl and boy. Santa's sleigh now filled to the brim, bulging bags surrounded by a festive trim. Sleigh bells jingle as off they fly, sailing high in the nighttime sky. Now all presents safely delivered, no more reason to feel shivered. Santa's warm in the fire glow as he toasts his once cold toes. Mrs. Santa smiles at the job well done as she hands him his festive bun, stuffed with mouth-watering flavours, his reward for all his labours. I thought I'd end on a festive note.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you for that. Thank you. Okay, moving on now, we're going to welcome back another regular blotter. Please welcome Kate Jenkinson.
Let me unmute. Okay, three relatively small ones. So this one, I've just named it, Gary. I've called it Crumble. I'm as honest as the great.
Sorry, you see Gary jumping up and down there.
Did you get excited?
Crumble.
Yeah. It's not that sort of crumble, unfortunately. It's a bit of a sad one. Let me start again. I'm as honest as the grated apple skin and as tainted as its browning in oxygen. I'm as honest as the helium that strains your voice and speaks a higher pitch. I'm as honest as the scars I bear, silver lightning streaks where skin could not stretch. I'm as honest as the pain I felt when you were laid off, and I was too, and just as useless. Then I thought I will finish on a Christmassy-ish one, but this is one I wrote a while ago. It's actually in a book, self-published. I've never told you that before, but anyway. This is called Sitting on a Park Bench, and I think because of all the lockdowns and lack of getting together at Christmas, I'll be doing a lot of this. A seat can be a resting place, a sanctuary for your imagination, where you create your own reflective space, away from people in their constant race. You can sit and breathe and think and stop. You can slow down the incessant pace and regain the rhythm of your life, no longer carried by the overstimulated tide where media frenzy consumes your energy. You can sit and dream and muse and cease. You can cease to be at others' whim, a self-deprecating, humble plaything. You can regain control and inner strength just by sitting on a solitary park bench. And then I wrote this one last Christmas, but I think it's rather fitting. I actually wrote it Christmas Eve last year. Kind of got what we wished for, but I didn't imagine it would happen the way it has anyway. It's Christmas Eve, and whether you believe or not, we can all take a moment to be grateful for what we have, not what we have not. Health and prosperity, love and kindness. Our worlds would all be better places, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, with social graces. These places of community and connection, I hope, will inspire a new generation of poetry believers, both givers and receivers. If you enjoy the written and the spoken word, then share it. The world is better with poetry and poets in it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Yeah, very apt indeed. Yeah. But who would have thought last Christmas that We've not so many poets by this time next year, you know, between us, you know.
We had no idea, did we? No
No,
idea.
you know,
It's amazing.
we knew some, we knew a few, I know them, but now it's like, wow. As we're about to find out. So we're going to have, it's our last debut blotters for the evening. Would you please give a wonderful blot welcome to Paul, Colin, and his boys.
Hey everybody, can you hear us?
We can hear you fine.
Oh, so Jaden's up first.
This piece is called Nature. As I walk out my door, the first thing I see is nature. Nature is many different things, like flowers, trees, leaves, plants, and animals and insects too. We need to respect nature because it's living just like us.
You're up now, Elijah.
So I don't have a name for this one, but yeah. I enter the cold, murky water, shivering. First my feet, then ankles, knees, waist, zap! Cold, slimy tentacles wrap around me like those of a jellyfish. But it feels different. It's tangled. I look down at my feet and see plastic bags and fishing line tangled up around me and more filth drifting through the current. Suddenly, I feel a stabbing pain in my left lower leg. I start to panic. Oh no, I've been bitten by a shark. I swim frantically to shore to get a better look at my shark bite. Oh no, I can't look. There's a tooth in my bite. Hang on, shark teeth don't shine. I look more closely at my gash and see not a shark tooth, but a triangular-shaped piece of glass. I think of the sea creatures swimming in this man-made filth, and I wonder, is this what it feels like to be a fish out of water?
All right, and I've got one more piece to share. It's not very Christmassy, but I guess it's about a shopping experience. So this one's called Favorite Song. As I walk through the grocery store, I'm oblivious to all but the shelves, my trolley, my shopping list. Each aisle a groove on the record of my shopping track. And then it happens. The music transcends from the speaker above me, loud like it was never there, yet it always was. A melodic background until familiarity nests in my ears. See, this time it's different. This time it's my favorite song. Which is to say, when my favorite song plays, I feel nothing. I mean, it's just a song, right? Its subliminal rhythm and melody and lyrics cause me to reflect. I stop, transfixed to the spot, suddenly oblivious to everything but the rhythm and melody, the words whispering in my ears like those from a snuggling lover. As I stand in the grocery store, I hold my breath, feel my heart race. Yet the rest of me is still, paused as the shoppers move around me like I'm not even there, like a needle stuck in the groove while the track continues. Which is to say, when my favorite song plays, I feel lonely, missing the moment, the people, the point in time when it became my favorite song. My eyes begin to fill with tears as I'm flooded with everything, yet nothing all at once. What's wrong with me? What's happened? Why do I feel like this? It's my favorite song. Snapped out of my trance by the polite words of a layman who can't hear or understand the importance of the moment I'm held captive in, who sees me as nothing more than an obstacle in aisle 7. Mind stuck in the past and present, my body fixed yet liquid, as I realize I'm now swaying to the song's ebb and flow. Which is to say, when my favorite song plays, I feel seen, understood, safe, even when no one's there, protected in that space, that moment in time. I wipe the tears from my eyes, begin to move once again, understanding myself better, immersed in the conclusion of both the song and of my feelings, which is to say, when my favorite song plays, I am the rhythm, I am the melody, I am the lyrics, and the intense emotions leave me stuck on repeat, repeat, repeat. Thank you.
Woo, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for getting up this morning, Paul, Elijah, and Declan. It's been wonderful having you all here. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Well agreed. Welcome to the night. Another round of applause for him. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on now. We're going back to our regulars. Would you please welcome Leslie Constable?
Well, hi, everyone. Yeah, it's I don't know. I've got just 2 poems to read, and I don't know if the first one is Christmassy. For me, it is. For me, Christmas is about remembering. It's also about children, and I really delight walking around the streets, seeing the kids all jumpy and squirmy and excited, and it's a delightful time of year to, well, anyhow, this poem, the first one's called While You Were Sleeping. It's about celebrating the beauty of my children as they were sleeping. While you were sleeping, I was awake watching. While you were asleep, I was awake waiting for you to wake. And I waited and watched, sometimes checking for signs, the chest rising and falling slowly. Yes, he is breathing. Yes, she breathes. The movement of the eyes behind lids, closed lids, rapid then slow to repeat this pattern of dreams as they arrive behind the eyes. Beneath translucent eyelids, the color of flesh, your flesh, like a pearl glowing. And the small whimpers, the singing, short arcs as you dream, symbols of sleep, wakening, waking, awake. I've watched you as you sleep. I know them all. I know you. You remained asleep, did not stir, in me, my hands forming ancient signs, the meaning of the deep in the body, of these deep in the body, sleeping still, these caves of desire asleep and in sleep waking, chill, dark, still, calm, desire, the breath of desire, the chest moving in response to the signals behind the eyes, up and down the chest, aging in increments as I watch, constant as love, we wait. Together in the sky, strung like pearls to form a necklace in the sky, nearly imperceptible, the hint, the dark glimmer at night of these orbs shining, separate yet together, except when there is the moon up there, which like us shines like the moon. We are the moon, each our own, which shines. Sleep, my love, my precious one. I will not wake you before your time. I will not wake you with my own tremors of fear or of rage would shake me, for they are my own, mine to own, she who is watchful, she who is wakeful. While you were growing, I was grown, a tree with roots which go down to the middle of earth, my mind spiraling up now as branches passing through the reaches, and there up into the darkened sky. While you were sleeping, I traveled there up high and forgot myself and you. I forgot you remembering me, and I forgot I was awake and you asleep, and forget myself and simply kept going, wakeless or not, wakeful or not, I forgot. And imagined me the baby this time once again, sleeping as I was and I will be again, wakeless, wakeful, weightless, in dream, in memory. I simply kept going. So my next one is, yeah, this is an odd time of year. Yeah, sort of the balance of light and just an odd sort of twixt in between time of year. So this one's called For Crying. I think crying is wonderful, by the way. I think it's very healing and healthy. So, crying. Now is the time for crying. Now the time for tears that will wash us, soul collective, soul co-joined with the all clean and pure. We are rendered children again, innocent, quick to smile as quick to cry, lost behind us, washed clean, made right, go on and sit in the dirt if we wish. We must, making castles of mud, visit at the water's edge, the waves licking us, lay on our backs awash in the night sky, deep and dark blue of it, the stars, the punctuation of light, otherwise unseen, portals to the other side of thought. In tears, through tears, our riches emerge, nourishment we seek for us to grow and begin again. That's all for me. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you. Merry Christmas to you too. Thank you. Beautiful again. Okay, Jeff Cottrell, take it away, sir.
Okay, so today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to read an excerpt from my novel, which is called Hate Story. So this is from chapter 2 of Hate Story. My protagonist, Jackie Roberts, it's kind of an introduction to her work life, or her day job at least. She arrives at the call center 5 minutes late with a water bottle and a half-eaten cheese and onion sandwich in her hands. Passing Sam in her tiny office and spotting her supervisor's mildly disapproving expression, Jackie mouths the letters TTC to her. That's Toronto's transit system. Sam closes her eyes and nods as if she has heard the excuse 10,000 times from 10,000 employees before. Jackie goes to her cubicle to set up, surrounded by the voices of her coworkers. "So I'll put you down for 2 for the Mozart package," she hears Julia say into her headset mic on the other side, her fake smile oozing the required corporate customer friendliness. "1 ticket left for the Star Wars concert? Sound good?" Chris, the handsome blonde 21-year-old guy sitting to her right, chirps to another customer. This is nobody's dream job, but nowhere near as bad as past call center jobs Jackie has held. Here she is calling past ticket buyers, the vast majority of whom are genuinely interested in classical music, and people who care about culture, in her experience, are friendlier and easier to deal with. Not like at the place where she was trying to sell credit card upgrades to bank customers, meaning they could pay an extra $70 a year for air miles and other vague benefits, or the place where they were calling random households in the States to sell credit card insurance. She didn't last long at that one. Her first suspicion that the operation was not entirely legit came on the first day, when her supervisor instructed her to tell the leads that she was calling from an address in Scottsdale, Arizona. Her second came when she realized that the same supervisor spent most of every workday in his office practicing his golf swing. The Hogtown Philharmonic Orchestra's call center is far better, but every phone rep has to deal with the occasional problem lead on the line, and Jackie gets 2 in her first hour today. The first one is a grumpy guy in Brampton who claims he has never been to an HBO concert in his life. Jackie assures the guy that he attended a performance of Stravinsky's The Firebird only 2 years ago, or at least that is what her computer screen reads, but he goes into full denial. "Classical music is so boring," he scoffs. "Why would anybody want to sit through that stuff and pay so much money when I could be upgrading my car?" "A lot of people are happy to spend good money to hear great music in a concert hall with great acoustics," she assures him. "Yeah, boring people," he says and hangs up. "Fucking idiot," Jackie mutters to herself as the computer system calls up the next lead. The second idiot comes on a few calls later. It is a frail-sounding elderly lady in Willowdale who rambles on about her dog, her son, and other irrelevancies for 3 minutes, then sounds enthusiastic about buying a package of 5 Tchaikovsky concerts. She has read about it in the seasonal brochure that the HBO mailed her, but needs a refresher on what the specific content of the concerts will be. "The first show in a few weeks," Jackie describes, reading her information, "is the famous 6th Symphony in B minor, the Pathétique, along with the Romeo and Juliet theme." "Oh," the lady says, her raspy voice betraying years of cigarettes. "Oh, dear. I don't really like that symphony much, not that one." "Well, then there's the Christmas show that includes selections from the Nutcracker." Oh, says the woman. Dear, oh dear, I've never liked the Nutcracker much either. Jackie stifles a sigh. Perhaps I could sell you the other 3 as one of our custom packages. The next one in January is the first piano concerto, along with the 1812 overture. There is a long pause. Oh, dear, the lady replies. I can't listen to that 1812 overture anymore. No, I can't. Those cannon shots are too much for my high blood pressure. They don't use real cannons, you stupid woman, she thinks. What about the one in March, the violin concerto in D? Another long silence, during which Jackie imagines the lady shaking her head in senile confusion. Oh dear, she finally says. I'm dreadfully sorry, but I don't think I like Tchaikovsky music very much after all. Now that I remember it, my husband used to listen to Tchaikovsky records back when we were young, back when he was working for Mayor Phillips. We like to call him Nate, of course. He was such a fine man. And I always told him. Jackie senses that a long, long story has begun, so she ends the conversation as politely and painlessly as she can. Jesus fucking Christ, she says out loud after disconnecting. What the fuck? Why the shit do I always get stuck with the morons? Nobody answers her, which is fine. She does not come here for the conversation. The next couple of hours go by smoothly, with a handful of sales. Jackie is looking forward to her first break, which is 5 minutes away, when she senses Sam standing behind her. Jackie, can I speak to you in my office for a few minutes? She says with a polite smile, hands clasped in front of her. She follows Sam into the tiny side office, where Patty, one of the company's human resources people, sits in a chair holding a clipboard and pen. Sam shuts the door. Right, says Sam as she and Jackie sit down. So we've received a few complaints. About what? Jackie asks innocently, as Patty begins jotting down notes. About your language, from your neighbors. Sam still has that phony smile, and Jackie knows she is in for another one of those patronizing lectures disguised by a thin streak of manufactured empathy. Now, I understand that work can be stressful and frustrating at times, and yes, it can be therapeutic to blow off steam. Believe me, Jackie, I've been there. But we have to watch our behavior when we're in a professional environment. And some people are not going to be offended by vulgarities, but we have to recognize that some people are. Agree? Jackie nods as Sam carries on, and Patty writes mechanically on the clipboard. Sam recommends that Jackie go out for a walk for 5 minutes whenever she gets the urge to swear, and warns about the dangers of a customer on somebody else's line overhearing her in the background, and that her co-workers need to feel safe and relaxed around her so that they can get their jobs, so they can do their jobs without distraction or tension, and so on. Jackie starts feeling angry only when Sam suggests that Jackie might want to enroll in a corporate workshop on how to deal with anger constructively, as if she had the time for that crap or anybody did. Jackie keeps on listening to her yammer on, nodding when it seems appropriate, and wishing she had more guts. She wishes she had the guts to tell Sam that she has overheard Julia swearing like a deranged homeless person on several occasions, and that nobody has ever had the urge to tattletale on Julia like this. She wishes she had the guts to defend herself. She wishes she had the guts to tell Sam and her little HR minion to go fuck themselves and to walk out. But she needs the job. I wish I had a keyboard in front of me. It's funny how courage seems a lot easier when you're not dealing with people face to face. After the lecture, Jackie gets up to leave, then says, "Oh, I need to book Wednesday off." Sam looks at Jackie. "Excuse me?" she says with a half-amused, half-disbelieving expression as Patty starts writing on the clipboard again. "Yeah, sorry. I guess it's not the most appropriate moment, but I have a doctor's appointment, an important one." She is actually taking a Greyhound to Cambridge to do an interview with Paul Shortage's mother, but Sam does not need to know that. Sam blinks, then offers a labored nod. "Fine." Jackie slowly returns to her cubicle, wearing an armor of suspicion and mistrust. She knows she is surrounded by snitches, and she cannot trust anyone, certainly not respect them. Who knows what the next slip will be, and which of these jerks will go running to Patty or Sam like a second grader crying to a teacher. "Teacher, teacher, Bobby said a naughty word. Punish him, teacher." She looks at her nearest co-workers and wonders who the tattletale could be. Chris, you little brown nose? Amanda? If it's Julia, she's the biggest motherfucking hypocrite in the universe. She sits down, puts the headset back on, and lays on the fake smile and goes back to work. And that's from chapter 2 of Hate Story.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Snitches. They're called clipes up in the northeast of Scotland, by the way. Clipe. You're a clipe. Okay, we can move on now to Marky Mark. Ready to go, sir?
Hiya, how do I follow that? You're always difficult to follow, Jeff. Brilliant. I like that. Okay, I've got two here, and if I've got time, I'm going to squeeze one in that I've done so many times before this year, but it's a bit of a favourite of many people, so I'll try and get that in before I go. Right, this one's called Christmas Dream. The lights are lit. In their glow we sit, mesmerised by the hue of the tree. Dreams of children on Santa's knee, twinkling stars on glass, shiny balls and streamers deck the halls. Tinsel sparkles as it moves in the draught, as we settle our souls for the long winter nights. Outside, the dream of snow, the countdown to Christmas starts to grow. Queues at tills to buy treats and thrills, cups of coffee to ease the chills. When Christmas is over, the decorations are down. Before we know it, spring will arrive with a bound. Thank you. Next one I'll do is called Christmas is Coming. Christmas is nearly here. We're stocking up the beer, shopping like it's Armageddon. We're buying all the junk at inflated prices for the latest toys and devices. Buying food like it's going out of fashion, clearing those shelves with a passion, slinging in the trolley, bashing and crashing the annual Christmas dashing. Pork pie and sausage rolls, pigs in blankets, turkey and duck stuffed to fuck, roast potatoes, Brussels sprouts, thick gravy and Christmas pud with brandy cream, bursting at the seams, stomach screams for a rest in that long string vest that someone bought you in jest. Red wine and real ale, advocate and whiskey, Nan's getting frisky, mother's getting merry on the cooking sherry, and granddad's nose lights up like a cherry. Children opening prezzies and making merry till their batteries run out and they sulk and shout. Dad's in his Christmas jumper, asleep in the chair. Several little rugrats are pulling at his hair. Peanuts and Brazils in dishes on windowsills. Stocking up the medicines, we're bound to get a chill. TV and Radio Times planning our viewing for last year's repeats of Christmas specials, soaps and films. Fill your head with festive joys, keep the kids occupied when they've broken all their toys. Oh, Christmas is coming, it's time to act a twat, the time the government make loads of money out of all this VAT. So happy festive season, bankrupt for no reason. See you on the other side in January, the sale season. Thank you. Now, the final one, if I can, let me just find it on my machine. It's one I've done several times, and it was a bit tongue in cheek, but it's become a bit of a favourite. It's called Fartinator. I am the fartinator, methane detonator, sprouts incinerator, cabbage macerator. I am the fartinator, methane generator, planet decimator, face reshaper, silent creeper. I'm the grim reaper. I'm the fartinator, purveyor of vapor, smell shaper, arsehole viper, antisocial bugle blower, smell sower, midnight crower. I am the fartinator, noise regurgitator, stomach bubbler, bottom mumbler, corduroy flapper, plastic chair cracker, sonic rapper, cheek slapper. I am the fartinator, bath bubble mixer, smelly elixir, fart flicker, noisy ripper, room stripper, smell of drains, rhyming proclaims, lottery dealer and Buffy squealer, deathly dealer, wind peeler. I'm the fartinator, oxygen stealer, contentment feeler, gas blaster, baked bean master, flatulent caster. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, that is one of my favourites anyway, the Fartinator. What a great way to finish. Great way. Okay. Well, welcome back, Bridget.
Hello, glad to be back. So I'll start with the latest one and the one that's most related to Christmas, because it was inspired by a walk on the Christmas lights. And the title is Midnight. I'm walking on the empty streets, sparkling in the Christmas lights. Two seagulls chatting, the third chasing chips in the middle of the night. Take that ginger safely home, a homeless man politely asks. Will you? Please, she's beautiful. Please apologize, I'm sleeping here. We kept us silent, lumps in throats. That moment, words are just too much. The eyes were speaking, ears taking notes, unsure of what may happen if we stop. The sound of chirping birds is loud, the shrieks of seagulls passing fast. Where are the stars? Where are the clouds? All I see is the sky so dark. The wind is picking up the speed. The grays of granite have eyes of light. 6 hours later, back on the streets, with the noise I know and recognize.
Nice.
So thank you. For the second, so there are two options to go. Would you like to hear, thank you, Langton. Would you like to hear something in a foreign language, the Estonian language?
Yes.
Yeah, I always like that, always like that.
Thank you. It's about winter and how the winter is, and the nature in winter speaks about yourself and the truth in yourself. Öine tõde. Lumise kuu valgel säravad tähtedega kaetud puud. Tuulise kuusiku palvel loobun märkamast, suudlus suul. Ometi jäi homne tulemata, valedega hoitud arm. Minuti pärast, samme kuulamata, viipab staatuse sõrm. Millal ja miks ei ole teada. Kuidas ja kes ei tea keegi. Mida ja mis? Kas üldse pean ma leidma ja siis kartma teisi? Lumiste puude sosinal hõikan tähis taevasse lubadusi. Tuuliste ööde valguses seisan lumehangede embusest. Nii leian hinge vabaduse, tõtt kuulnud viha. Nii jätan vangi armastuse, mis kaotas mina. Millal ja miks? Ammugi teada. Kuidas ja kes teada seegi? Mida ja mis? Just nõnda pean ma leidma ja armastama teisi.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And I finish up with something that was written back in October 2020. And this is not about Christmas, but this is about the only thing we really have and present. And the title is The Bridge of Present. I was rich when I was poor, slept on a bench, but enjoyed the world. My obstacles were stepping stones. no doubts and worries in my bones. And then my life got changed. Fate truly has its ways, because I crossed the bridge. I was poor when I was rich. I had it all, but all was gone. Back on the bridge with life undone. I had nothing, so I thought I was poor when I was poor. I watched the river flowing past. I saw my future, let go the past. So now I'm living on the bridge, and I am rich, and I am rich. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. Thank you once more. Nice to have you back again. It's great. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on now to stateside, to Nashville, to Francesca.
Hello. Mine's about having a blue Christmas. Underneath my cloak, I have Elvis's Blue Christmas, or at least a blue shirt with Elvis on it anyway. My Blue Christmas. Elvis sang, "I'll have a blue Christmas without you." It's true. We look forward to seeing our loves. Last year, I saw Brenda Lee rock around the Christmas tree. She hugged me tight. So many Christmas shows and those wanting piano music and hymns. The music does not mean the same thing as it did back then. This year, it's a backdrop. Since Grandma and Mom are not around, I have to start a new family tradition, Hank Jr. would say. Likely, I will listen more to Hank Jr.'s son, Sambo. He too has lost a wonderful sister. Needless to say, I love all of you, and this moment is special to me. Thank you, Finn and Arya from Scotland. I am thankful for all of you, bringing so much joy to my life. COVID may have changed things, but it doesn't stop how much I love you, and no matter if you celebrate a holiday, it's your choice to do so. Smile. Thank you.
Thank you, Francesca. Thank you. Lovely for you to be here. Because some of you don't know, Francesca was involved in quite a bad car accident the other day. And which, to quote her, if I'm not speaking out of place, her boobs saved her. So
I'll go ahead and say it so everybody can laugh. I was saved by the boob.
So
and I actually
saved
looked
by
that
the
up,
boob.
and it's an actual thing. You can actually Google it. I haven't done a story yet for a newspaper or anything, but it was right over my heart. The seatbelt hit me, and I have a huge bruise. So I know exactly what saved my life. And also, like I said, I read an article later on after I even talked to you guys last night about it being a true thing. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Would you please welcome back Michael Schindler?
Yeah, hi everyone. I have been writing some seasonal stuff, but I've got this ongoing family crisis right now that it's really hard to focus on anything else. And so in this, I actually, for some reason, want to read this thing, which is one of the very first things I ever wrote. This is from 1972, back when I was in middle school. So yeah, goes back a little while. Here on the great Monopoly table of life, why am I stuck on Baltic Avenue? These dice just ain't going my way, but it's too late to quit the game and there's no way to start another. I know good and damn well I'm not going to pass go. I'm going to get stuck in jail. And I've lost so many rolls of the dice, it isn't funny. But why? Why am I stuck on Baltic Avenue? Shut up and roll. So, yeah, that's sort of where I started way back then. And this one I wrote this week. It isn't exactly Christmassy or anything, but at least it's sort of positive, I think. It's called Flying. It's also a little different than what I usually do. He decided to learn to fly. He didn't want to learn how to pilot an airplane or a helicopter. He wanted to fly. He wasn't big on taking unnecessary risks, so he decided not to do anything stupid like throwing himself off a cliff. He would start slow and build up to it. He picked a spot and named it his launch pad. He swept it until it was clean. It was a clean and tidy piece of earth with no pebbles or twigs to stick in his feet. He put on his lightest silk pajamas and called them his flight suit. Standing in the center of his launch pad, he took several deep breaths and then he jumped. He jumped straight up and then came down in the same spot. He'd only jumped a couple of inches, but he'd left the ground. He took a few more deep breaths and then jumped again. He repeated the procedure again. After 3 jumps, he was happy with his efforts. He went about the rest of his daily routine, feeling better for having left the Earth's surface 3 times. The next day, he swept his launch pad clean and jumped 3 more times. The next day, he did the same. Day after day, he would jump 3 times and carry on with whatever jobs and chores the day had in store for him. This went on for months. At one point, the launch pad had been jumped on so many times that it had become a hole. He filled the hole with fresh dirt, tamped it down, and then did his daily jumps. Not a day went by when he did not jump, no matter the weather or his health or how busy he was with obligations. Each day he would put on his flight suit, go to the launch pad, and jump. Some in town laughed, some thought it was charming, and some wished him well when they saw him, offering their hopes he would eventually fly. He didn't distinguish between these camps. After his daily jumps, he met all with kind smile and went about his daily chores. After the first year, some were inspired by his consistency and attitude and made their own launch pads. They too started to jump 3 times each morning before starting their daily grind. Some soon stopped, some kept up the practice. After 2 years, there were dozens of people starting their day jumping 3 times in the air as high as they could. One day, the man did not come into town. He did not come the next day either. The townspeople went to investigate. At his launch pad, they found his flight suit pajamas in a heap right at the very center. They looked all around, but the man was nowhere to be seen. Someone looked up and saw something in the air. Perhaps it was a large bird, and perhaps not. After that, everyone in the village jumped together every morning. After their jumping, they smiled ethereal smiles. They went about their day with a lightness in their step and a graceful air whenever they met one another. If one didn't know better, one might even think they were flying. And I'm just going to real quick end. Oh, geez. I can't find the one I was going to end with here. So I'll end with this. For those who sort of a catch-all, this is Atheism 101. God worship, not for you. Try respect for the universe. Voila! Just as good. Okay, thank y'all. Happy holidays.
Wonderful, wonderful. Respect is all. Respect to you, Michael. Thank you. Okay, I thought them pretty well, getting everybody in the right order tonight, but I pointed out I didn't. supposed to be that time. Anyway, here he is now. Welcome, Gerald Kells.
No problem. No problem. I'm going to start with a new poem, which is called Limitless. Limitless, like sky or woods with elves or dreaming, lies still and imagines. Between calm rivers, the dropping of stones on streams, wanders in wonders. There is nowhere he cannot go, nowhere that's hidden. All is before him. Is that an angel? Is that a finger between calm rivers? Blinks at her questions. One for a yes, two for a no, and if he gets it wrong, they will turn off his dreaming with the drop press of a switch on a clean caustic panel. One more dander in the forests of Elysium. He is alone there, unfettered by pain. They cannot know him now. He is beyond them, limitless. And I'm going to do a short one. That's the new one, this is an old one. There is no beauty. I thought I'd try and find something looking forward. There is no beauty apart from the beauty which is the only beauty in the world. There is no silence apart from the silence which is the only silence in the world. And in that silence where beauty waits, silence and beauty make the whole of the world. And if I've just got time, I'm going to finish with a poem for the season. This is called To All Who Wait, and it's a kind of prayer. You're into that sort of thing. To all who wait outside the door, to all who kneel upon the floor, to all who cannot dream of more, may Christmas bring you cheer. To all who sit in silent prayer, to all who breathe in toxic air, to all whose brows are lined with care, may Christmas bring you cheer. To all whose dreams are torn apart, to all who nurse a broken heart, to all who need a brand new start, may Christmas bring you cheer. To all, whatever race or creed, whether or in wealth or else in need, whether in shackles or whether freed, may Christmas bring you cheer. And even to those who will not bend, who vile philosophy defend, who maim and murder in the end, may Christmas bring you cheer. Who strive to seek out sneaky things, who love what being nasty brings, and sneer when holy church bells ring, may Christmas bring you cheer. But mark these words, I can't ensure that such good wishes will endure. For though I wish you Christmas cheer, I pray for justice in the new year. Thank you.
Word, wow. Thank you. Thank you, Gerald. Thank you. Wow. Indeed, indeed. Okay. Would you please welcome back Lantern Carrier?
Woohoo! You can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Great. Mesmerized by the breaking of waves, I listen to the symphony of the wind. of how she spoke of time past and whispering dreams, of the pain of millennial sorrows, the tenderness of love. I lay on the beauty of twilight, enchanted by the light of perennial entities which kissed my heart. The night sky fixated my gaze. We danced on the crest of rolling tides as the wind continued her illuminating conversations. She spoke of the magic of smiles, of the miracle of sunrise, and the moon kissed my soul as I bowed in sacred gratitude. She sang of the glory of man, of the undaunted courage of a woman's sacrifice, and my heart became a field of prayer. She talked of life's struggles, of how light shines in Jerusalem, even when the shadows are dense, that we can only measure the darkness by an effulgence we once knew. And I listened, and my tears became a raiment for the beloved. Have wine, she said, go forth and love, for are not your desires the same adversity that will fashion you into gold? And how shall you laugh if you know no weeping? Be patient, for the weaving of the inner alchemist never ceases. She spins and spins a zillion revolutions until every indiscretion is wiped clean and the yarn returns to its natural state of grandeur. You are that yarn, you are that grandeur. Even though you may not feel it, I can see 1 trillion candles glittering in your core. Then the waves subsided and the wind blew softly, gently caressing my spirit. The fire of my essence burned with the setting sun. Fear not, she said, before becoming silent. I am with you always, even unto the edge of eternal time. Poem 2. In retrospect, my whole life has been about beauty, love, light, harmony. It's been about struggles too. For which good parent will not admonish the naughty child? Infinitely more loving is the one within. Amidst it all, the night knows of the glistening incandescent moon, and winter inevitably dissipate, so I can enjoy the beauty and fragrances of spring flowers. Dawn brings me song bearers, so my heart can be a citadel of love, as my soul sings with the arias of Mother Nature. Ah, it is a most wonderful world, and Satchmo was indeed blessed, visionary. You're an ocean of excellence too, an effulgent light that mirrors in the spirit everything just written or said. I'm not special, and indeed my strength lies in knowing that you too have your own inner Christmas tree of gratitude, that epitome of luster, goodness, and above all that sweet supernal silence. Let us give thanks and praise. Season's greetings, everyone. Lantern Carrier.
Thank you, Lantern Carrier. Always a pleasure having you here, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Finn.
Okay. All right, you please welcome Beth.
Evening all.
Hey, thanks for staying up.
Just about awake still. Yeah, I turn into a pumpkin after a certain point at night. Not much Christmassy I notice in my catalogue, but a bit of a roundup of the year perhaps. I'm reading this first one for Kelly and for all of my friends north of about York. I come from all points north, where the sea comes in, birds rise on the ocean, the seam of water, air and land, where the sacred calls to me as the intertwining lines, and I say, Bath, grass and Newcastle. I come from talking properly with everyone at the table, from hiding my anxiety behind 6:30 comedy on Radio 4. If nobody is watching, I can be eating. If you ask me how I know I have a cutlet, I'll say, I'm sorry, I haven't a clue. I come from his rage, his drinking, his pies, harsh words at night, mood indicated by music, relationship only coming as I moved away. I come from her determination, her firmness, no vanity, from fabric cut and shaped around me, Her hands that made the garden made a memory with mine. I come from a childhood marked by strikes, hardships different to the ones I thought I was having. Freedom to walk for miles, Kirby Lane and back again. I come from education as power, knowledge as strength, words to cross and parry in the forests of this life. I come from women strong and worthy men, hills and sandbanks, rock and fen. I come from days spent dreaming of a life that I could be writing, never guessing this was waiting in a neighbourhood of swans. One of our themes in Write Club a little while ago was the worst raffle prize. So this is the worst raffle prize, and then you get some new shit. I mean, it's hideous, but the number matches, and apparently it's mine now. I don't have much choice. I look a little closer. It has some redeeming features. Some of the faces it reflects look kind. Not all the edges are sharp, but looking at it whole makes me feel lonely and cold, like safety ran away and nothing was left but a gnawing fear. It seems to be part of the prize. There's no indication of how to get rid. I repeat to myself and I speak into its void. Nothing exists without value, and I will see what you're worth. Are you a gift or a warning, a season of plenty or dearth? Walking away, it gets heavier. The cold is starting to set in. My fingers feel something sticky, the ticket attached underneath. I peel it to double check the digits. Is this thing really my reward? The fingers are crumpled, but even I can see that both of them say 20. Right, let me see if I can just pull this up. This is so new that I literally finished it this afternoon. It's called The Hush. Every text empty day, another hammer to my heart. Already bruised by the relentless drumming of this year, where all I can hear is when it isn't you talking. All I am reading are not your words, because lockdown has me pinned. Anxiety, a portcullis I cannot raise even for text, because all there is in my ears is, what if you're wrong? I have been craving a particular solace, seeking a certain silence, not the soft quiet of earth makers and birds, nor the freedom from misphonic cracks and snaps and crackles, a migraine's edge that has me creeping. Not the noiselessness of absence, where everyone walking away from me is you. Not the dead air of rejection, the loudest noise on earth, nor the soft shh that I will now ever see as 3 colours blue. No. I seek the quietude of knowing, soft and true, the peace between lovers when nothing is needed, the difference between sound and noise, where every word is held in the hush of hearts and still of souls, the quietus of love.
Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Beth. Thank you. Okay, we're wearing down now. We're getting there. We're getting there. Not a shame. Please welcome back Tim.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good, cool. Yeah, I was trying to look for some in lighthearted and positive for Christmas, but I don't seem to do that. I do mainly apocalyptic and dystopian, whatever time of year it is. So this one sort of fits that, really. It's called Spit for the Swallow. Nighttime prowler skirting the perimeter, midnight howler growling in the dark, broken down chapel and a sinister minister, slinging sulfate in the alley where the hound dogs bark, electric shock jukebox, skip full of syringes, scattered confusion at the end of the day, witch-hunted lies, exile and a lynching, everywhere heavy with the smell of decay. We gate-crashed Eden and ended up in hell, working the steps one day at a time. When it's harder to buy, it's harder to sell. The bigger the fortune, the bigger the crime. We partied all night, but got shattered on the rebound. The volume cranked all the way up to heaven. It seems a long time ago now, but just turn around and it's standing at the corner just like it was then. And there's one road to glory with no tickets to sell. And the horsemen are riding back home in the dark. Too early to hear the clang of the bell, too early to hear the song of the lark. And here's a spit for the swallow, a spit for the crow, a spit for the children you didn't want to know, a spit in the dust to mix up the clay, a spit in your eye at the end of the day. The house is red and full of radiation. The virus is crawling all around your door. You're going to need some pills and a spot of medication and maybe a visit to the liquor store. And the nighttime prowler is consulting his solicitor. The midnight rambler is scared of the dark. The broken down chapel's a speculative investment sold for $2 million to a Russian oligarch. These were the things that weren't supposed to happen. These were the beggars that beggared belief. We made an agreement to liquidate the faction, and you swore you wouldn't bring in the police. Empty threats in the corridors of power, tremors so faint you don't feel them at all. We watched the waves gather from the tall black tower, and the ocean was rising like a great gray shawl. Times like these are the ruptures in history, the rip in the curtain, the crack in the wall, and through the little cracks, the ocean comes pounding. Who can say where the water will fall? Okay, guys, I got one more called, another jolly little number called Viral Overload. It's cold up here among the stars. You know those nights when there's a trail of electricity that you just can't break? Well, there were nights like that up on the east side of the city in dreams where I was rearranging my books or taking direction from the flight of birds. I couldn't find my way home. And there were no other possibilities, except the ones you might chew over in random bedrooms, lies hooked on a doorknob, a pale blue waistcoat hanging on a chair, cigarette burning in an ashtray. Last call for alcohol. The night is ready to close down, unless you're one of the lucky ones, the beautiful people invited to the after party of time, where the price of admission is your soul, going once, going twice, going 3 times. Just hand over my heart, Father. It's been kidnapped long enough, and I need it back. And suddenly, I'm walking into a room full of strangers, a love song from the ghetto, a car crash of studied carelessness 3 miles out of town, and I glance at your face again over an empty bottle of wine as Cohen's The Future plays. I am at the mercy of an old prescription sealed and delivered in phased out downtown bars with no trace of a human face. And on a good night, there's nothing left to feel except the ache from the old wounds. And I'm coming down fast and there is no time. And in the dream, I'm driving down the same road as before. I've left something important behind and I can't remember what it is. And I wake up and I'm standing facing the house. The stone flies through the air. I hear the sound of breaking glass. The window splits 3 ways. Fragments fall into the room and into the street. And in that moment, I disappear completely from her life, drawing a line in broken glass that can't be made whole again, that can't be undone, that can't be mended. I am free, free at last, under the light of a blackout moon, as the track marks of my life split wide open again along the fractures of time and bad faith. It's colder here than it was before. I'm living in a new world of existential rehab where connections were never built to last. I'm looking for a place of safety with no wind chill and no viral overload, no rising oceans and no firestorms before the winds get stronger and the rivers run dry, before the fearful morning where I'm standing, bathed in white light, and the music changes and the cities are on fire. That's it, guys. That's your lot. Thanks. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you. Wonderful change of pace. Great stuff. Okay, 2 more to go. Please welcome Dane Ince.
Thank you. I have a couple of pieces. Thoughts on the river. The river flows. The river does not care about you. You may fight upstream. You may float with the flow. The river does not know you are there. The business of the river will not be interrupted by you. After we are all gone, there is still the river. The river has a dharma. You have a dharma. You may not trade for another. On calm days, the river reflects the mirrored perfection of the surrounding world. If you break the surface of the river by jumping in, the reflection is changed, but still perfect. You may hold one thing, 10 things, 100 things, but you cannot hold everything. Everything holds you. When you let go, gravity works perfectly every time. When you let go, there is room to hold something else. Why not hold imagination? Why not hold love? The dharma of holding. Practice guarantees nothing, not even something useful to do with your hands. Practice does not make perfect. Practice makes opportunity. The dharma of doors. Open 1 door, open 10 doors, open 100 doors. In this practice, you will learn when the door opens for you, enter that 1 door. You're always free to leave. That's what the door is for. I listen to wise people. I make stuff up. My hands are full of holding all they hold. I cannot hold dogma also. The world does not go along with anything. You go along with the world. If this is true, then how do you practice? How do you travel with? Put your writing, art in the world, someplace where it may be found, like loot in a pirate's chest. It is never lost. It will be found. Make a treasure map every day. Hold on a second. The gift. The gift. We all get gifts in our lives. What will we do? How will we feel about those gifts? Will we recognize the gift when we get it? Do you remember the first gift you received, the last one? By definition, gifts are special. They're not mundane. They're usually tied to ritual. They come wrapped. The practice makes for excitement, anticipation. Perhaps it is even a socially acceptable form of lust. Sometimes this wrapping is elaborate in fashion, a fetish, and depending on the recipient of the gift, is exposed depending on, no, I'm sorry, I lost my place. Sometimes the wrapping is elaborate in fashion, a fetish, and depending on the recipient, the gift is exposed as carefully as virgins on their wedding night. Fingers gently slipping, probing, sensing velvet or satin with great care, teasing under ribbons and bows, gently, finely tugging till the adhesive releases. The ribbons and bows slide down and rest on the floor like the limbs of tangled lovers. I salivate at the process of experiencing what is inside. Is it what I hope for, what I need, what I want? Will it change my life? Will I be sad or happy with my new knowledge and experience of this gift? Will it set me free or chain me in misery and failure? Or will I honestly be grateful and openly share the joy of that gratitude? The process continues, gentle, shake and listen, smile, wonder what is inside. The gift is held closed and sniff. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, I'm sorry. It's held close and sniffed for a clue from scent. Fingers and hands caress the gift's package, its body seeking a way to gently get inside and free the tight wrappings of its blouse without tearing, rending violence, but a calculated, cool, controlled release, intentionally damming up passion for a very long time. Ah, the revelation is so sweet. Not yet, not just yet. Linger just a little longer with the embrace, a caress again and again. Some tease and prolong this for as long as possible and revel in the delight of anticipation until someone finally just cannot take it anymore and they erupt. Please, oh, please, come on. Oh God, open it up, open it up. Take a look. Squeals with delight and laughter ensue. Don't you just love it? Is it what you always wanted? Do you like it? I have the receipt. I can return it for something else. Finally, the gift is nude and shivering in its nakedness. You had hoped for something that was pink and warm and soft and inviting as a purring cat sitting on your lap begging for more pets, but it's a black box containing a black hole, and you fall in and the voices and laughter recede as you're falling into an old master's eternal blackness of Prussian blue and burnt umber. A pile of coal on a moonless night is a rainbow by comparison. Everything is dark and soul-screamingly sharp hardness slices you into pieces of confetti as you are falling into some undiscovered corner of your mind. Why, thank you. It's what I've always wanted.
Thank you, Dane. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. No, I always love your work, man. Always love your work. Thank you, sir. Okay. We've come to that point in the evening. And say there's no show without punch, or should be there's no show without butch. Would you please welcome, no, we don't have to rise, but would you please welcome Her Majesty, the Queen.
Good evening. Right, I'm just going to put on my Clive Oseman mask for a minute, just a moment.
Hello. Right, yeah, I hope this works because I haven't rehearsed this at all. I haven't practiced this in any way, shape or form because it's brand new and I've been at work all day. So I hope I don't mess it up. But just to put you in the picture, this is an extract from what I'm going to be doing on Christmas Day, which is the Queen's alternative Christmas message, which I will be doing on Facebook. So yeah. And as I say, this is only an extract and I haven't practiced it, so fingers crossed. So.
One wants you to know that correct COVID-safe procedures are being followed for this broadcast. I have washed my hands while singing Happy Birthdays to Me, and we are following Hen's Face Space. And that sounds awfully like the name of one of one's awful German cousins, Hans Face Space. And I wanted leave because I can't stand them. But it's actually one of those terrible 3-word government slogans, a bit like buy me a yacht. I know that's 4 words, but I'm the queen, so what are you going to do about it, plebs? Now, my cameraman Tarquin is more than 2 meters away and has full PPE. That is posh person's exclusive. So, now I've got that out of the way, I will actually begin the message for 2020. Greetings, comrades. Oh, I'm awfully sorry. That's the one I had prepared in case that terrible oik Jeremy Corbyn won the election last year. Can you imagine? Chequers would be a homeless shelter now, and he would probably have given Sandringham to refugees. Dreadful man. You're not recording this, are you, Tarquin, dear? Oh, you are. Well, you will edit that out, if you know what's good for you. Well, one has to say that 2020 has truly been an annus horribilis, which means one has to talk out of one's arse for a few minutes. It has not been a good year for anyone, except chums of my government who got some lucrative contracts, of course. Andrew had been exposed late last year as a pizza lover and did nothing to dispel the shame. He has not cooperated with dietitians at all. As a punishment, one downgraded him on one's Christmas gift list and gave him a specially commissioned can of Lynx Pizza File antiperspirant. I suppose some people are Anglophiles, some are Francophiles, and Andrew, I'm afraid, is a pizzaphile. How terribly common. But one mustn't be too hard on him, as he is still grieving the loss of a dear friend. And some other terrible things happened too. COVID failed to kill Donald Trump or Boris Johnson, and Harry did a runner because he couldn't cope with pretending to be royal anymore. On a brighter note, a vaccine is on the horizon. No, not to stop errant hangers-on giving birth to suspiciously ginger children. Good grief, no. For COVID, of course. I bet I got vaccinated before you. Ha ha ha. Regrettably, you lot will have to pay much higher taxes to pay for the government handouts during lockdown. But it's not all bad news. Oh no, my yacht will be paid for, and I can sit in my palace playing tunes on my gold piano about how we are all in it together. To be continued, motherfuckers, so listen on Christmas Day.
Oh, we're all going to tune in for that. What time are you doing it, Clive?
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, okay. In your diaries now, 1 o'clock. Oh, that was such a wonderful night again. I'm really touched and really thank you all for coming along. Thank you all for just being here, for making this just a long event, this, you know, people come and people go. And only one person drop out who was going to read. Sadly, that was Special K, but, you know, got things going on. We can be back on the 10th of January for the next one, when Special K is the future poet, funnily enough. So that's a good one. Thank you all once more. I'm just going to finish this with one more. This is an old piece too. It's called Cold Chicken. It's raining and windy, no shelter for the cold. I'm ailing, though young still, I am really feeling old. Christmas is coming, I still can't find a home. No money, no shelter, wandering the streets alone. My shoe won't stop licking. My toes are turning green. My stomach is so empty, I wish that I was clean. Searching through the rubbish for something nice to eat. A leftover chicken leg, a succulent seasonal treat, nourishing but still hungry. What else is there to do? I approach a stranger and say, a Merry Christmas to you. And to you all, have a wonderful, as good as you can Christmas. I'll see you on Tim's Do if anybody's there on Tuesday, which is, I think must be the last one before Christmas. This is my last for the year too. Thank you all for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Finn. It was a brilliant night. Thank you.
Finn.
Lovely.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank
Finn.
you.
Glad I made it.
Merry Christmas,
Thanks, Finn.
everybody.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
You still
thanks
look
so
like
much.
Clive.
What was that?
You still look like Clive. You can take the mask off now.
Yeah, it's very comfortable, and I'm going to leave it on for a while.
Yeah, you might find the rest of that might even burst into song or into a bit of spoken word. You never know. It's been written as at this, well, not at this moment, but you know what I mean. So yeah, it's gonna be a bit of fun.
Wonderful.
Okay, I'll take care. Happy holidays.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Night,
Good night,
Thanks,
everyone.
Jacob. Thanks, Elijah. Boys. See you later.
A lot of
Night.
chocolate and stuff.
Thanks,
Night,
Paul.
lovelies.